Chapter 1036. On the same day, the magazine's official Weibo account released a set of behind-the-scenes photos from the shoot. Although it wasn't as shocking as the photos, the excited fans still pushed the post to the top of the trending list. The first 3 photos were of the romantic and sweet style of the first set, which had tormented countless single people. The middle 3 photos were of the dark and cool style, in which Shi Sui and Xiangyi were like walking clothes hangers, exuding an extraordinary sense of fashion in their branded clothes. The most surprising and the one that made the fans go crazy was the last set of photos. Xiangyi usually gave people the impression of a gentle and cute national girl, and the clothes she wore were mainly light-colored. However, in this set of photos, the girl was wearing a long black dress, which was a rare sight. Her eyeliner was slightly elongated, and her lips were a bright red color. On the retro and gorgeous sofa, Xiangyi was crossing her long legs. The red soles of her black suede high heels were exposed, which was seductive and soul-stirring. Shi Sui was also different from his usual calm and abstinent self. His white satin shirt was exquisite, but the collar was torn open, revealing the black choker necklace on his collarbone, which made his skin look even fairer and his Adam's apple look even smoother and clearer. He was sitting on the wool carpet, looking clean and delicate. His hair was styled into disposable curls, and he looked like a little prince who had been sent to a foreign country as a hostage. This set of photos of Queen X's little prince instantly went viral on various social media platforms. "Ah, I want to see this. I'll definitely buy this issue of the magazine." Xiangyi's lips are simply the color of a queen's coronation. Her aura is so strong, I've already been subdued by this beautiful girl's dress. Shi Sui is such a contrast. No wonder he's a monster who won the Best Actor award. He doesn't feel out of place at all when he acts as a little puppy. I feel like locking him in a small dark room. I'm so perverted. You're not alone in the small dark room. I've already prepared a dog head for him in my basement. I'm the director of Nanjing Mental Hospital. Hello to you guys. Ha 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 ha, I'm going to die of laughter in the comments section sooner or later. Shi Sui and Xiangyi were both trending topics. Just the cover of the photos had already made it to several trending topics. However, the two of them didn't make it to the top of the trending topics this time, as the top spot was occupied by little Uncle Xiang Feng. #Xiang Feng official announcement. The netizens saw a few words. After clicking it, they saw a Weibo post that Xiang Feng says, "Xiang Feng, I'm." The accompanying picture was a bright red marriage certificate cover. It was very festive. Thanks to Xiao Po's strong influence, Xiang Feng's current popularity was no less than a second-tier celebrity. Plus, he's of stars of SUVs. The whole internet was gossiping, who is little Ant? After the interview and video of the interview of the photos of the little GPS location. Xiang S of our little uncle and sister song so efficient. Shi Sui, who was beside her, glanced at it and raised her eyebrows. Should we call her little Ant then? In the villa under Xiang Feng's name. In the living room, Song Qiuqiu was holding a cup of hot tea as he looked at Xiang Feng, who was humming a song in the kitchen while cooking. "We, the people, are so happy tonight, ha. We, the people, are so happy tonight, ha." Although they did register their marriage, weren't they, in a fake marriage? Why did it feel like Xiang Feng was happier than if they were really married? Was he a fan of the atmosphere? Chapter 1037. When Song Qiuqiu finished her 6th cup of tea, Xiang Feng finally came out of the kitchen with a few plates of dishes, or perhaps they could be called dishes. Song, this is the food I made for you. Although it's a little ugly, I tasted it just now. You won't die from eating it. Xiang Feng looked at Song Qiuqiu eagerly. Song Qiuqiu, what kind of dark cuisine was this? She reluctantly picked up a piece with her chopsticks, but the taste that hit the depths of her soul instantly froze her in place. Xiang Feng was elated. Look, look, I told you you won't die. The next second, Song Qiuqiu ran to the bathroom and vomited. Song Song. After a long time, Song Qiuqiu finally recovered and lay weakly on the sofa. Xiang Feng anxiously guarded her. I'm sorry, I saw that little Xiangyi's cooking was quite simple, so I wanted to make you a meal myself. It's okay. Song Qiuqiu was so weak that she almost died from that mouthful of food. Let's discuss something. Don't come into the kitchen in the future, okay? That won't do. Song Qiuqiu. I believe that as long as I practice diligently, one day, I'll be able to make delicious food. Song Qiuqiu was about to cry. Then you should eat more. In Xiang Feng's eyes, Song Qiuqiu was looking at him with affectionate eyes, teary eyes, and secretly flirting with him. He felt like a deer in his heart had a concussion as he said affectionately, I understand your intentions, I understand all of them. Song Qiuqiu. What the hell do you know? She took a deep breath and tried to sit up so that the conversation between the two of them could be more formal. Xiang Feng, we're in a fake marriage, I know. I've signed the premarital property notarization, the fake marriage contract, the 100 clauses of the cohabitation contract, and the divorce contract after 2 years. I've signed all of them. Quick, think if there's anything I missed. Song Qiuqiu hesitated for a moment and asked, why aren't you angry about signing these? The two of them were childhood sweethearts. Outsiders had only seen her beautiful, sweet, and decent appearance. Only Xiang Feng had seen her when her teeth were falling out, when she hadn't washed her hair for 3 days, and when she had been constipated for so long that she had blocked the toilet bowl. She suggested a fake marriage because she had no other choice. She hadn't expected Xiang Feng to agree so readily. She was paranoid, so she made Xiang Feng sign a lot of documents. If it were another man, he would probably be angry, right? But Xiang Feng always granted her every request, without a word of complaint. Xiang Feng scratched his head. What's there to be angry about? You don't feel safe, so as a man, I should give it to you. To protect my own interests, I think this is what I should do. What's more, you're nothing. I'm already used to being bullied by my elder sister and my eldest, second, third, and youngest nephews. Song Qiuqiu was so touched that she held back her tears. Then you don't have to deliberately put on an act and act so happily. You even posted something on Weibo. When we get divorced in the future, you'll have to delete it. I didn't put on an act. I posted it on Weibo because I wanted to. Xiang Feng chuckled. When I think about how I'll be able to see you every day for 2 years, I'm especially happy. I'm with the person I like, even if it's a fake marriage, I'm really happy. Song Qiuqiu was dumbfounded. You like me. Xiang Feng was also dumbfounded. You don't know. At the same time, a large number of anti-fans appeared under Shui's Weibo. Chapter 1038. Shui, Uncle Xiang is already married. What about you? Shui, Brother Tini's neighbor's mother-in-law's nephew's cousin is already married. What about you? Shui, are you impotent? Shui, you're impotent. After clicking on the accounts of those anti-fans, they would discover an interesting phenomenon. They were all fans of Shui's sister, who was also Shui's fan. Countless netizens came to watch the show, and they were simply laughing their heads off in the comment section. Shui's sister was definitely the most anti-fan in the industry. One fan is better than 10 anti-fans. Indeed, it's true. At the same time, the fans of the couple were also worried sick. Is untimely couple getting married today? No, as long as they don't get married, they're still one step away from attaining a positive outcome. Hence, in the comments section, it was like a large-scale wedding urging, "I'm from the Civil Affairs Bureau, I came here myself. I'm willing to be a vegetarian for the rest of my life. I just hope that untimely couple will get married on the spot." He's asking for a marriage proposal with his own blood. It'd be best if the wedding is broadcasted live. However, regardless of whether it was urging them to get married, criticizing them, or making fun of them, they all ended up in the same place. They vividly demonstrated that humans were essentially repeaters. Shui is impotent. After the popularity of #Xiangyi's official announcement hashtag, those familiar words made it to the top of the hot search list again. When Si Chuanbai, who was in his hometown, saw the hot search list, the corners of his mouth twitched. Not only did he not bother to do public relations, he even sent Shui a voice message. "You've seen the hot search list, haven't you? Why don't you save the money you earn from removing the hot search list and buy some nourishing ingredients and herbs for you?" In response, Shui replied with a smiley emoji. Even Xiangyi, who was in the bathroom, received a call from Xiangyi's grandfather. "Little Tutu, don't air your dirty laundry in public. Shui isn't feeling well and you can't treat him. Tell Grandpa." Xiangyi felt as if she had fallen into the clouds. "Aw. How is he feeling unwell? He's clearly very healthy. I get it. He's hiding it from you, right?" The Prime Minister's tone was pained. "Don't worry, Grandpa isn't such an unenlightened person. I'll find a nationally renowned andrologist for a consultation. I'll definitely cure Sui's illness." Xiangyi. She seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly took a look at the hot search list. She explained for a long time, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Only then did Xiangyi reluctantly believe that Shui's impotence was just a joke made by netizens. After hanging up the phone, Xiangyi was about to change her clothes when a pair of large hands wrapped around her slender waist. The man rubbed his chin against her shoulder. "What happened?" Xiangyi's ears turned red. "I want to take a shower, I know." These words made Xiangyi's face burn. She changed the topic. "Well, Grandpa called me." The young girl roughly summarized the matter of Xiangyi's misunderstanding and asked, "Isn't it funny? After all, Grandpa doesn't surf the internet often." Shui fiddled with her soft hair, and his handsome face was glazed by the lights in the bathroom, making him look like a refined scum. "Is it funny?" "Of course." Before she could finish her sentence, her lips were slightly warm. Xiangyi was stunned for a few seconds. "Don't you think it's funny?" It was another warm kiss. Xiangyi didn't know what was going on. "It's just very funny." This time, she was carried to the sink where her back was pressed against the mirror. Xiangyi finally realized the danger. The man was smiling and she could feel his breath on her face. "Don't you know best whether I can do it or not?" "Ha." He enunciated each word clearly and raised his voice at the end. "Little Rabbit." Chapter 1039. The next day. By the time Xiangyi woke up, it was already past 10 in the morning. She rubbed her eyes sleepily, turned over lazily, and saw Shui by the window. The man was flipping through a stack of scripts, and there was a cup of hot coffee beside his hand, which was still steaming. His white shirt was buttoned up to the top, and he looked refined and restrained. Little did she know that under the white shirt was the mark she had left on his slender neck last night. Thinking of some absurd and messy memories, Xiangyi raised her hand and pulled the quilt up, trying to cover her head. Shui's deep and magnetic voice sounded in the bedroom. "Tutu, you're awake. Do you want to eat breakfast?" Xiangyi instinctively said, "I'm not awake." Xiangyi covered her face with the blanket in embarrassment. What kind of behavior was this? It was too embarrassing. The room was silent for a few seconds. The man walked to the bed and tucked her in. He smiled and said, "Then sleep for a while more, okay, baby. After a while, the girl's muffled voice came from under the blanket. Don't call me baby, then what do you like me to call you? Were you satisfied with the way I called you last night? Xiang-yi recalled his hoarse voice last night, his soft moans mixed with desire. His whole body was like a piece of fried glutinous rice that was charred on the outside and tender on the inside, making sizzling sounds. I am asleep. The behavior of deceiving oneself X2. Shui pulled the blanket down a little so that the little bunny could breathe smoothly. He kissed the girl's delicate eyebrows gently. Go to sleep, baby. We'll set off when you wake up. On the internet. When the netizens woke up, they realized that the trending topic had finally changed from hashtag Shui can't hashtag to a new topic. Hashtag honeymoon variety show. Hashtag oh wow, which artiste in the industry is going on a honeymoon? Everyone clicked on it. Li Jianyu V. After several months of preparation, the newly planned travel episode of Two Under One Roof is about to start recording. This time, it will be in the form of a short love documentary. The guests will still be Shui Xiangyi. Beep beep beep, we're setting off now. Rabbit playing what the hell? Did Xiangyi and Shui finally have a new variety show? In the comments section, the fans were already crying tears of joy. Official dog abuse is the deadliest, sisters. Rounding it off, this is the honeymoon variety show. We must support the honeymoon trip of the two newlyweds. Son, tell me which website you posted the video on. I'm going to become a member. Director Lee is best at beautiful and sweet styles. Director youthful heart plus top popularity plus stunning beauty. This is simply the strongest idol drama team in the country. How can I deserve this? Whoa whoa. Half a month later. The first episode of the travel episode of Two Under One Roof was released on Xingchen Video. Before the broadcast, some netizens were pessimistic, saying that Li Jianyu, Shui, and Xiangyi were too eager to make use of Two Under One Roof to make money and were treating their fans like sheep. However, the day the video was released, it gave everyone a slap in the face. This time, there was no need to become a member of the variety show. It was free to stream. The entire internet was in an uproar. The netizens who were pessimistic were dumbfounded. What's going on? Is this a charity? However, after clicking on the video, everyone realized that it was indeed a short documentary. Each episode was only about half an hour long, which was much shorter than the duration of a typical variety show. Hence, something that made countless variety show directors in the industry jealous happened. A large number of netizens protested, please become a member. Please increase the duration. Chapter 1040. There were also many people who directly went to the online customer service of Xingchen Video and asked frowny face, why don't I need a membership for the travel series? Hurry up and arrange it, I want to get an annual membership first. Customer service, hello, dear. We've learned that each episode of the short documentary this time is rather short, so we've decided to stream it for free. Netizens, dear, do you think I'm short of money for membership? Please hurry up and upload the exclusive premium long version of the video. Customer service, okay, dear. Your request has been recorded. I'll give you feedback in a timely manner. Please give me a star for my service. At first, there were still some people who wondered if it was some sort of publicity stunt. For example, membership was not required for the first episode, but for the second episode, membership was required. For the third episode, advanced streaming was required, and for the fourth episode, membership was required plus advanced streaming plus a single episode fee. But soon, everyone's attention was drawn back to the content of the short documentary. Although the duration was short, the quality was online and the images were in high definition, comparable to professional documentaries. In the first episode, Xiangyi and Shui went to F City, the fashion capital. There were two main storylines used in the filming. One was that the two of them went to visit a tourist attraction, while the other was 3 meals a day. When Xiangyi began to cook her first Western meal, the real-time pop-up comments were all astonished. Wow, Sister E knows how to cook Western food. I thought Xiangyi only knew how to cook Chinese food. I didn't expect her to be so good at Western food too. I'm impressed. Truffles, snails, caviar, lobster steak, foie gras. Travel expenses are nothing. This is a real budget explosion. In the video, Xiangyi was wearing the cute little apron that Xiang Qi had sewn for her. Every dish she cooked was smooth and pleasing to the eye. Western food had extremely high requirements for the chef's sense of sight, smell, taste, touch, and sympathetic nerves, and Xiangyi happened to be a genius in this aspect. Under the high-definition camera, the ingredients were extremely tempting, regardless of whether they were fried or stewed. The final product was juicy and full of flavor, paired with exquisite desserts and suitable grape wine. Just looking at it was a pleasure. Xiangyi's explanation of how to do it was added later. The editor used double speed and added a long string of flowery words, "Welcome to, you definitely won't know how to cook it after watching it. Even if you know how to cook it, you don't have the ingredients. Even if you have the ingredients, it doesn't necessarily look good. If it doesn't look good, it will become a dark cuisine." This program is provided by What Are We Doing Then? I am the host, Shen, and my partner, Yi, and special guest, Ni, and our good friends, Kan and Shui. Thank you to I Don't Know, What Can You Do, for their strong support of this program. Remember our slogan, I'm handicapped, I'm proud, I'm saving materials for the country. This segment instantly became the highlight of the variety show, poking at the laughing points of countless netizens, and was made into a short video that was widely circulated. Many years later, it was still a textbook existence for variety shows. This is a story for later, so let's not talk about it for now. In addition to Xiangyi's Western food that amazed everyone, the two of them also had a series of similar designs that went viral. Shui and Xiangyi were wearing a series of handmade, custom-made couple outfits that were designed by Xiang Qi and completed with the help of his studio. The price was not cheap, but the stock in the physical stores, official websites, and online stores were all sold out in less than an hour after the program was broadcast. In addition, sports shoes, belts, bags, kitchen utensils, and other similar designs all became popular worldwide. Chapter 1041. On this day, the public once again witnessed Shui and Xiangyi's ability to promote products. It was simply terrifying. Some netizens also noticed that the clothes, shoes, bags, and daily necessities of the two were basically all made in China, except for those designed by Hades. Initially, everyone thought that since Xiangyi had promoted products for many local brands before, those brands should have sponsored Two Under One Roof. However, the local brands soon released statements one after another. Thank you Shui Xiangyi for promoting our local brand of mint toothpaste for free. It's not easy to make a local product, and we'll remember the warmth of today's event. We're donating 1 million yuan to charity, and hope that this warmth can be passed on. Congratulations to the travel segment of Two Under One Roof. At the same time, thank you Shui Xiangyi for supporting our sunscreen umbrellas. Now, our sunscreen umbrellas are not only made in China, they're created by China. Thank you for letting more people know about our sunscreen umbrellas. Today, we're donating 990,000 yuan to charity, and we hope that your love will last forever. Thank you Shui Xiangyi for advertising how Jiejia's kitchenware on the show. Thank you. The words of gratitude and donations converged into a torrent of public opinion. The impact of negative impressions was profound. Xiangyi had once been criticized by the entire internet, but now, everyone was tearing down her label one by one. The most eye-catching thing was the interaction between Shui and Xiangyi. The way the two of them got along with each other was not spectacular. On the contrary, it could be described as plain and ordinary. However, Before going out, Shui would check the weather in F City and specially bring a sunscreen umbrella and an umbrella for Xiangyi. When Xiangyi cooked, she would also seriously consider Shui's taste and would cook Shui's favorite foods and flavors for every meal. When the two of them went shopping, Shui would take the initiative to carry their bags, and Xiangyi would also feed him drinks. There would also be many small surprises. For example, when they were rowing, Shui magically pulled out a small bouquet of flowers from behind her back. Another example was when they went to the haunted house at the theme park and Xiangyi gave him a rabbit doll that she sewed herself. In short, it was all in one word. In just one episode, the amount of dog food and the sweetness of the sugar sprinkled made the majority of netizens sigh with emotion. The best love, Shui, Xiangyi. The untimely couple fans even expressed with tears in their eyes that they could die without regrets. However, at the end of the first issue, there was a suspense. The editing used the form of switching back and forth. Xiangyi angrily threw the spoon away. Whoever made it will make it. Anyway, I can't cook. Shui pushed up her glasses coldly. I've never liked anyone. Please don't flatter yourself. The audience? Where? Was this what the production team was doing? Even web authors aren't as slow as you guys. Why was Little Sweet Biscuit being abused? The netizens flocked to Li Jianyu's Weibo and flooded his comments section with friendly greetings. Li Jianyu replied, "The next episode will be at 2000 hours next Saturday night. Be there or be square dog head." The netizens, at the same time, Xiangyi and Shui had just finished filming the 4th episode when they happened to run into Fu Jiayan, who was filming nearby, as well as Jiang Jojo, who was holding Fu Jiayan's arm and blushing slightly. Ahem, long time no see, Fu Jiayan smiled foolishly and said, "I've been with her for so long and I didn't expect the two of us to become a couple. This must be fate." Xiangyi and Shui looked at each other and smiled. Chapter 1042. After chatting for a while, the topic naturally turned to the official announcement. Fu Jiayan said, "I definitely have to make an official announcement. Now, as long as Jojo agrees, I'll post it on Weibo immediately." He was an actor, not an idol, so the impact of the official announcement would be relatively small. However, there would definitely be an impact. After all, although he was famous for being a silly comedian, he still had some female fans. Shui asked, "What did your management company say?" Fu Jiayan said miserably, "They're pressuring me and it's hard for me to resist now. At most, I'll just go all out." Jiang Jojo looked down and said, "It's okay with me, your career is more important." Jojo, I'm sorry, I'm not capable enough. Okay, it's not a secret marriage anyway. Besides, it's quite exciting to be in a relationship secretly. I swear, I'll make it up to you in the future. You must have what other kids have. Seeing that the two of them were acting out a bitter drama with reddened eyes, Xiangyi put a hand on her forehead and reminded them. Did you guys forget something very important? If I remember correctly, Fu Jiayan mentioned previously that his contract with the management company is about to expire. Yes. Fu Jiayan said with a dumbfounded expression, "But I'm not very popular now and no management company has come to poach me. Those who have come to me have harsher conditions than this one. They'll ban me immediately if I'm in a relationship." Shui couldn't help but laugh and look at Xiangyi. Xiangyi also pointed at herself. Fu Jiayan asked foolishly, "Sister Yi, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Why are you blinking at me so many times?" Jiang Jojo asked worriedly, "Yi, are you sick? They say that doctors don't treat themselves. Why don't I take you to the hospital for a checkup? Nothing is more important than your health." Xiangyi said. "I just want to remind you that I, Xiangyi, am the CEO of Tomato Entertainment." Fu Jiayan and Jiang Jojo were stunned and had yet to react. Xiangyi sighed helplessly and said, "Yes, Fu Jiayan, it means that you can call me boss. Fu Jiayan was speechless. Ha! That's right, that's right. I can sign with Sister Yi's company and work for you. Jiang Jojo also reacted and exclaimed, Yi, I want to be your sister for the rest of my life. After settling the contract issue, Xiang Yi started to think. Could it be that falling in love would really cause one's IQ to drop? She hurriedly went online and found a set of college entrance examination math questions that were said to be the most difficult in the country. 148 points. The girl muttered in a low voice, Good, good, he's not too stupid. After all, second brother always got full marks. Fu Jiayan and Jiang Jojo were speechless. Are we too bad at studying? Why can't I even understand the questions? Shi Sui came in with afternoon tea. Seeing the little girl writing and drawing with a tablet and pencil, she came over curiously and asked, What are you playing? Xiang Yi said casually, Do you want to give it a try? Fu Jiayan quickly stopped him. Don't. This question is too difficult. After all, Shirengdi has never been to university. Jiang Jojo elbowed him and said, He just didn't go to university. He was the top scorer in science for the college entrance examination, okay? Fu Jiayan muttered, Shirengdi has been away from the college entrance examination for more than 10 years. He must have long forgotten all his high school knowledge. She thinks I'm lousy. She thinks I'm old. Shi Sui smiled and said, Shall I give it a try? Xiang Yi pushed the tablet to him. Half an hour later. Xiang Yi changed the score of the answers. How many points? Jiang Jojo leaned over and exclaimed, Wow, 150 points. Fu Jiayan was flabbergasted. It turns out that I'm the clown. Chapter 1043. Maybe it's because this set of papers is relatively easy, Shi Sui said in a warm voice. Fu Jiayan struggled and said, Yes, it might be the capital questions. Jiang Jojo's words shattered his hopes. Wake up, this is the Suching questions, one of the most difficult math papers in the country. Fu Jiayan was speechless. Good, I can die with a smile, smiley face. 3 days later. Fu Jiayan officially terminated his contract with his agency and signed a contract with Tomato Entertainment on the same day. Tomato Entertainment, welcome actor Fu Jiayan to join our family. The artistes under Tomato Entertainment congratulated him one after another. SEA 7 Jiang Qin, hello, brother Fu. Lin Jia, hello, brother Fu. Molly, nice to meet you in the future. The most eye-catching thing was, Rong Huai, welcome. Rong Huai. Is that Rong Huai who once appeared on The Small Cut? Everyone clicked on Rong Huai's identity verification and was shocked. Tomato Entertainment has signed a contract with Tomato Entertainment, a freshman at the Capital Film Academy. Little Wolf Cub is impressive. He actually got admitted to the Capital Film Academy. The netizens who had seen The Small Cut still remembered the promise between Rong Huai and Xiang Yi. After Rong Huai was admitted to the Capital Film Academy, Xiang Yi signed him to Tomato Entertainment. All of a sudden, it made people sigh with emotion. Sob, 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 this is so inspirational. Rong Huai really did it. Sister Yi has also signed him according to the agreement. I can't take it anymore, the after effects of The Small Cut are too great. I still feel like crying when I think about it. However, there were also people who raised doubts and even went to Xiang Yi's Weibo to question her. Are you there? The college entrance examination hasn't started yet and Rong Huai is already a freshman. What a joke. It's understandable that you want to make money by signing artistes, but it's disgusting to fake it like you. I'm also an art student who applied for the Capital Film Academy this year. I can clearly tell everyone that the enrollment process hasn't started yet. How can Rong Huai be admitted? Xiang Yi, I had a good impression of you at first, but you indulged your artistes in lying and even falsified certification information to mislead your fans. If you can't be a bad boss, don't be a dog in the manger. Xiang Yi, who was overseas, didn't see these comments because of the time difference. However, Rong Huai could not hold it in any longer. He was young, frivolous, and hot-blooded. He directly posted on Weibo to criticize the netizens. Rong Huai V, you can scold me, but don't scold my sister, okay? His words instantly made Rong Huai the target of public criticism. A ready-made target attracted a lot of firepower. By the time Xiangyi woke up and found out about this, the number of comments on Rong Huai's Weibo had already exceeded 100,000. After learning the whole story, Xiangyi sighed softly. It was something that could be explained in one sentence, but Rong Huai was stubborn and did not explain himself. Instead, he exchanged dozens of rounds with the haters. Of course, the young man's trash-talking skills were quite high. Netizens who were watching the show joked that his words were at the level of Smog's, "Your parents have gone to heaven. You don't have a mother, do you? Greetings are meant for people. Are you worthy? Be good, little kid. Return the phone to your family." Netizens made an emoticon pack and spread it widely. The last comment was made 2 minutes ago. Xiangyi sent him a WeChat message. The next second, the following notification appeared on Weibo. Rong Huai V deleted a Weibo post. Rong Huai V deleted it. The netizens were dumbfounded. Are the staff members in charge of his Weibo account? The haters mocked, is the grandson scared? In the next second, Rong Huai V, Xiangyi, sister, they're fierce to me. The haters were dumbfounded. Chapter 1044. The netizens were about to die of laughter. What kind of little wolf dog turned into a cute little puppy in an instant? However, they felt like they had finally found someone to back them up. Xiangyi left an ellipsis and Rong Huai immediately replied, frowny face, sister, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have argued. Even if others scold me, I shouldn't have retorted. Also, I'm not angry because they scolded me. I'm angry because they scolded you. They scolded you so harshly, the netizens, huh? This familiar fragrance, they felt that as long as they had interacted with Shui, they would more or less melt into her. What should I do? I've been poked by the wolf cub's younger brother. He's complaining so aggrievedly. He's so adorable. Let's be honest. Although it's nice to have a close sibling relationship, they can't just blindly defend each other. Rong Huai was the one who cheated in the first place. Warning, don't forget that Sister E is a magical girl with a 100% chance of slapping others in the face. Her words came true. A few minutes later, Xiangyi updated her Weibo and explained the origin of Rong Huai's Weibo account. Xiangyi, as far as I know, Capital City Film Academy has a small number of special admission slots in addition to the nationwide enrollment every year. The requirements are extremely high, and one has to go through layers of selection and interviews before being admitted in advance. The young girl's words were concise and comprehensive, but they hit the nail on the head and instantly resolved the debate among the netizens. At first, some people didn't believe it, but soon, some netizens found out about Capital City Film Academy's early admission criteria. Be it appearance, physique, specialty, professional standards, etc., it was even stricter than the unified enrollment. In other words, it was just like the selection for the gifted junior class, where outstanding students were selected in advance. It sounded unfair, but how many people could reach such a stringent standard? The fact that Rong Huai could be admitted in advance was enough to prove his excellence. Later on, Capital City Film Academy's official Weibo account also came out to respond and released the list of the early admissions this year. There were only a few people in total. There were genius directors, dubbers, and 2 actors with top-notch looks and acting skills. Everyone's qualifications were beyond doubt. At this point, no one doubted that Rong Huai was lying. Some netizens even spontaneously apologized to him. Rong Hui didn't care about the slander or praise from the outside world. He only cared about, only his elder sister. He stared at the phone screen, afraid that he would receive a message from Xiangyi, but he was even more afraid that he would not receive a message from Xiangyi. Ding ding ding, a video call invitation appeared. He held his breath, his fingers trembling slightly, and pressed the accept button. A young girl wearing a floral dress and a straw hat appeared on the screen. Xiangyi waved at him and teased, "Rong Hui, you've become famous overnight, haven't you?" Rong Hui was obviously a little nervous, and his entire body was stiff. Even when he spoke, he sounded like a robot. I'm sorry, I've caused you trouble. I understand your feelings. If someone scolded my friend, would also be angry, but... Xiangyi changed the topic and advised, it's best not to be so impulsive in the future. You have to believe that adults can solve many problems, okay? Rong Hui pursed his thin lips and looked down without looking up. He really wanted to say, I don't think of you as a friend, I think of you as, who are you talking to? Rong Hui. A moment later, half of Shi Sui's face appeared on the screen and she nodded slightly at him. He hugged Xiangyi's slender waist. It was a possessive action. Chapter 1045. Rong Hui looked up and stared at the screen for a few seconds before lowering his head again. No one could see the light in his eyes dimming bit by bit. Actually, the distance between them had always been very far. It was just his wishful thinking that as long as he worked hard, he could get closer. Even if it was just a little bit. Unfortunately, it was all in vain. He hated that he was only 17 years old and hated that he met Xiangyi too late. Rong Hui, I heard that you're going for special training soon. You have to work hard and control your temper. Also, there should be a lot of scripts for you in the near future. I think you should focus on your studies. You can take on some dramas that don't have many scenes but have a good cast to hone your skills. The girl's voice was soft, and she was really like a gentle and considerate sister as she instructed Rong Hui in detail. Rong Hui did not speak for a long time and only said one word in a low and muffled voice. Okay. As long as it was what she wanted him to be, he would grow up. Xiangyi seemed to have sensed his subtle thoughts and whispered a few words to Shi Sui. The man seemed to be dissatisfied and narrowed his eyes slightly. His gaze was deep and dangerous as he sized up Rong Hui on the screen. It was unknown what Xiangyi said to him, but Shi Sui left. Before leaving, he even kissed Xiangyi's smooth and fair forehead. It was as if he was declaring his sovereignty. Xiangyi helplessly chided, childish. Those two words instantly caused Rong Hui's world to be in chaos. No matter what, Xiangyi would never say that to him in such a tone. Even an outstanding, mature, steady, and successful man like Shi Sui would occasionally find him childish, let alone him. Rong Hui was extremely dejected and listless, unable to cheer up. Until Xiangyi's gentle voice fell into his ears. Rong Hui, there's someone I like. She did not ask if he liked her, nor did she say that she did not like him. She was gentle, polite, and good-looking. Yet, she kept him at arm's length. Rong Hui said hoarsely. I know. Xiangyi, I want to share my view of love with you. It may not be correct, and it may not be suitable for you. Just listen to it as a reference. Before you like someone, you have to like yourself first. No one is more important than yourself. For the person I love, I can give, I can sacrifice, I can give everything I have, but there is one thing, you don't live for TA, you live for yourself. The video call ended. It had been a long time. Rong Hui replayed the conversation over and over again. He secretly turned on the screen recording function of his cell phone. Like a traveler in the desert, he would greedily drink even a drop of water when he saw it. Every sentence was the most gentle, but also the most cruel. God knows how many times it was played on a loop. Rong Hui pressed the pause button. F***ck. Don't flatter yourself, I don't like you. A moment later, his eyelashes trembled non-stop. His voice was hoarse and he sounded like he was about to cry. I don't like you that much. The young man fidgeted with his hair and punched the sandbag. The heavy sandbag was knocked away and bounced back. He punched the sandbag again and again. Not only was he venting, but he was also suppressing himself. After he was exhausted, the young man half knelt on the ground, breathing heavily. Patter, there were water stains on the floor. I like you. But that's all I like. He seemed to have convinced himself. I can do it, right? In the empty room, no one answered. It was as if the young man's worries had finally been buried. Chapter 1046. At the beach. Xiangyi pressed down on the brim of her straw hat and found Shui. The man was building an excavator. Was it a man's nature to play with sand and excavators? Xiangyi praised, wow, so cute. Shui looked up, his peach blossom eyes smiling gently behind his glasses. Do you want to play? Yes. Then, Xiangyi watched as Shui pushed the excavator over. Xiangyi was speechless. The man looked at her with a faint smile and did not say a word. But there were 4 words written on his handsome face. I'm not letting you play. Bunny couldn't help but tremble. I'm just teaching him how to love someone properly. Besides, I think I'm overthinking. Maybe he just likes chicks and doesn't like you at all. No, the way he looks at you is the way a boy looks at a girl, Shui said firmly. Xiangyi blinked and hooked her fair arm around Shui's neck. Then what's the way you look at me? At this moment, there was a crazy cough from the side. Ahem. Of course it's the way a man looks at a girl. Xiangyi's face burned instantly. She let go of Shui at lightning speed and widened her eyes when she saw the large group of staff around them. Li Jianyu was about to pass out from trying to hold back his laughter. Sister Yi, I told you last night that we're going to the beach today to record a scene. Xiangyi pretended to be calm. Okay, let's start then. Okay, everyone get ready and start recording. But, the 2 of you have to be careful. Otherwise, you won't pass the audition. Even if you pass, I'm afraid the fans won't be able to take it. Xiangyi was expressionless as she sprayed the sunscreen spray. Unfortunately, it couldn't cover the redness from her ears to her neck. Shui reached out his arm. Tutu, I want some too. Xiangyi stared at him. Xiangyi looked away. Epsilon, I'm not going to spray for you. The overseas recording was in full swing, and Xingchen Video released the 2nd and 3rd episodes one after another. In the 2nd episode, Shui and Xiangyi went to the snow mountain in D City. The girls made sushi, tamakoyaki, and homemade hot pot. They ate at the top of the snow mountain with Shui and enjoyed the scenery, which made the tourists jealous. Netizens also expressed that if they met Shui or Xiangyi during their travels, they would definitely shout, Sister Yi, don't be ungrateful. Don't force me to kneel down and beg you to give me a bite to eat. In the 3rd episode, Shui and Xiangyi went to the Devil's Valley in Milta. Many elite rock climbers from all over the world gathered here. According to the program team's arrangement, the 2 of them could experience rock climbing once. For the safety of the 2, the production team had carefully prepared seatbelts, descenders, helmets, iron chains, and ropes. Shui tried it first. The man was tall and slender, and his movements were agile. An extreme sport like rock climbing seemed to be a piece of cake for him, and he could climb more than 10 meters in minutes. Li Jianyu asked, is Sister Yi wearing her equipment? Ha! Where's Sister Yi? Someone exclaimed, Sister Yi isn't wearing any armor. She's climbing with her bare hands. The scene was in chaos. The audience could feel the camera shaking, and their hearts were in their mouths. Fortunately, it didn't take long for the camera to return to normal, and everyone could clearly see Xiangyi climbing, Oh, no, is this rock climbing? Why is she climbing so fast with her bare hands? Even the monkeys in Devil's Valley can't climb as fast as her. The girl climbed to the top and stood at the top of the mountain, asking in confusion, "Why aren't you guys up yet?" Chapter 1047. She was wearing a portable camera on her forehead, and from her perspective, she looked down at the production crew and the others at the foot of the mountain. Didn't they say that there was a sightseeing elevator nearby? The production crew was speechless. Sorry, we're still waiting in line for the sightseeing elevator. The netizens who had seen this episode laughed wildly as they spammed the bullet screen. Sister E, rock climbing, isn't it enough as long as you have hands? No way, no way. Why are you guys taking so long in the elevator? I can't take it anymore. The post-production editing is toxic. Why did they have to split the video into 2 screens and compare Sister E to a monkey? Help, I'm dying of laughter. Why is Sister E more agile than a monkey? Xiangyi scratched her head and looked at Shui again. The production crew just wanted the 2 of them to experience rock climbing, so they chose a location that was mainly for the scenery. The actual height wasn't too high. Xiangyi stood at the top of the mountain with her hands cupped in the shape of a megaphone. She shouted at Shui below. Shui, you're too slow. The man who had just climbed more than 10 meters raised his eyebrows. Shui smiled slightly. Shui began to untie the safety rope. The bullet screen immediately became lively. Woman, you're playing with fire. Warning, high energy ahead. Be careful, it's not a special effect. Is Shui crazy? It's understandable that the Xiang family has ancestral tree climbing skills, but what is Shui doing? How can he climb up without a safety rope and tools? Whoosh, the tools fell, causing the production crew to exclaim in shock. The camera shook again. Obviously, the cameraman was frightened. Li Jianyu was so anxious that he even held the megaphone and shouted, "Safety first. We're just recording a short video, there's no need for that." However, something shocking happened. Shui, who was climbing barehanded, was actually faster than with tools. The man used both hands and feet to climb up the uneven rocks like an agile and powerful cheetah in the jungle. It was as if he was leisurely strolling in the jungle and patrolling his territory. The production crew was speechless. Li Jianyu looked sullen. This. Forget it, remember to mark this part with the words "dangerous operation, do not imitate," in the post-production. Later, he mischievously typed 2 words on the screen. Okay then, it was written in red and bold, as if it was a small advertisement on the street, filling the entire screen. Dangerous, F***king. Please. Do. Not. Imitate. Netizens complained in the bullet screen. Is this something I can imitate just because I want to? F***ck, I love Shuringdi's stamina. I thought he was weak, but I didn't expect him to be as fast as Sister E when it comes to rock climbing. Look at the muscular lines on his forearms, the hem of his shirt fluttering in the wind, that inverted triangular figure, he's so boyish. A moment later. Shui climbed to the top of the mountain and stood side by side with Xiangyi. The camera they were wearing didn't have high resolution, and the blue light was blurry. However, Shui's smile was still very attractive. Slow. The audience. A car, it's a car. Xiangyi was completely unaware of the approaching danger. It's alright. Just alright. Shui asked with an ambiguous meaning. Xiangyi thought he was asking about the climbing speed, so she said frankly, "It's alright, my big brother is better than you. His climbing speed with his bare hands is twice as fast as yours just now." Shui sneered. The girl looked down curiously. Why aren't they here yet? The production crew, because we just got on the sightseeing elevator. The post-production caption was full of tears. Monkeys can't compare to you too, but we can't compare to monkeys. Chapter 1048. Amidst the laughter of the audience, the episode ended. The ratings for the travel section on Demi's website were also getting higher and higher. On Demi's website, the maximum score was 10 points. 1 to 4 points was the worst of the worst. 5 to 7 points belonged to the average level. 8 points and above could be said to be a work of praise. The rating for the travel section of Two Under One Roof had reached an astonishing 9 points. In other words, it was a masterpiece in the eyes of the netizens who participated in the ratings. Relatively speaking, the ratings for movies were stricter while the ratings for variety shows were relatively lax. Even so, 9 points was enough to shock the industry. The highest score for a variety show in the country was 9. 5 points for Two Under One Roof. In a sense, the travel section could be considered a sequel as it also got 9 points. It was enough to show how much the audience liked it. Some industry insiders predicted that after the travel section ended, it would probably get a score of 9. 2 or 9. 3. In that case, it was equivalent to Li Jianyu creating another legend. Next, the travel section continued to be updated at a steady pace, with high quality and lots of laughs. The number of clicks repeatedly broke records. Shi Sui and Xiangyi went to the desert, the grassland, the seaside, and the rainforest. The mode was still travel and food. Every time they went to a place, Xiangyi would cook according to the local ingredients. With the broadcast of the overseas version, the travel section could be said to have set off a global tourism craze. Countless netizens would check out the scenic spots that the two of them had visited. The two of them had the same outfits, the same food, the same pose, and so on, which were imitated by people all over the world. In the blink of an eye, it had been 6 days since the 9th episode was broadcast. On this day, a large number of netizens were squatting on Xingchen Video, waiting for the last episode to be broadcasted. The hour hand moved to 7:50 p.m. There were 2 earlier updates, which were released at around 7:50 p.m. Hence, the netizens were used to refreshing the page at 7:50 p.m. They might be able to watch it a few minutes earlier. However, this time, what the netizens refreshed was not a video. Instead, it was a link to the live stream. The netizens were dumbfounded. Everyone clicked on it and there was a heated discussion in the comments section. What's going on? Isn't the travel section a recorded broadcast? Why is it a live stream? Did something go wrong? Could it be that the show hasn't been produced yet and they're going to cancel it today, so they're doing a live stream? Just as everyone was discussing, the name of the live stream changed to Frowny Face Welcome to the live broadcast of Mr. Shi Sui and Ms. Xiangyi's wedding. The live stream seemed to lag, and no one spoke for a long time. A few seconds later, the live broadcast room exploded. Wedding. Live broadcast marriage. This must be fake. How is this possible? Meanwhile, on a small island, it was still daytime because of the time difference. In the dressing room. Good boy. Jiang Jojo, Su Tumi, Mo Feifei, and other Xiangyi's close friends were all there, all dressed in pink bridesmaid outfits. In the middle of the crowd, Xiangyi looked up. Her delicate and fair face looked even more radiant after the bridal makeup. Sorry, can I have a word with you alone? Nan stammered. Jiang Jojo pursed her lips and said, hurry up then, the wedding is going to start soon and it's going to be live-streamed. Okay. The 3 bridesmaids left. Nan, who was wearing the best man's outfit, spoke incoherently. I've been confessed to. No, I have a friend who has been confessed to. Chapter 1049. Meow. A furry little head popped out from behind Xiangyi. Xiao Naofu took the first plane ride in its cat life, Oh, no, tiger life. It was dizzy for a long time and had been sleeping beside Xiangyi for most of the day. But when it heard the gossip, it was no longer sleepy. Nan didn't know that Xiao Naofu could understand human language, so he poured his heart out to Xiangyi in front of it. It's just that Mr. C. Ahem, not me, it's my friend. No, it's not Mr. C. It's my friend A who confessed to my friend B. Yeah, that's it. Xiangyi had been putting on bridal makeup and hair for a few hours, so she was a little lazy at first. But when she heard Nan's big news, her gaze immediately became the same as Xiao Naofu's. One person and one cat stared straight at Nan. Oh, I see, back to half an hour ago. Nan received a video call from Old Master C. After a few sentences, Old Master C began to reprimand him. Why are you fooling around outside every day? How can being a manager be a proper profession? Everything is inferior, but studying is the best. Among all studies, the best is to study medical books and become a doctor. Nan felt wronged. Grandpa, I'm dizzy with blood, needles, and internal organs. I can't bear to read medical books, I get a headache just by looking at them. I really don't have the talent, nonsense. Your parents are both medical students from famous universities. Why can't you do it? Your parents are so outstanding, so you must be outstanding too. Nan opened his mouth, feeling somewhat helpless. Why, was he Daddy and Mommy's child? In fact, he wanted his parents to have a smart, outstanding, and brave child more than anyone else. Not someone like him, stupid, mediocre, and cowardly. He also wanted to tell Grandpa that the best parents in the world could give birth to smart children, but they could also give birth to stupid children like him. However, he didn't dare to say it, and Grandpa never gave him the chance to. Nan lowered his head and listened obediently to Old Master C's lecture. After criticizing for more than 10 minutes, Old Master C's mouth was dry, so he picked up the teacup and drank some water to moisten his throat. Nan heaved a sigh of relief, thinking that today's torture was over, but he didn't expect Old Master C to start the second round. Look at your hair. They were colorful. Was that the color of a normal person? Also, he's a boy and doesn't look like a man at all. A man must be masculine. Get your ass back here, I'll arrange for you to go to your military medical academy for training. Nan's eyes grew redder and redder, but the more he didn't dare to resist, the angrier the old man became. In the end, he even used personal attacks. If you keep crying, don't come back to this house. Don't acknowledge me as your grandfather. Our Mu family will pretend that there was never a trash like you. At this moment, Nan's phone was taken away. Mr. C. Si Chuanbai held the phone and said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner, Hello, Grandpa Mu. I'm Nan's colleague. Please allow me to say a few words for Nan. Maybe he's not the best manager, but he's definitely the warmest. Occasionally, he will be negligent or inadequate, but he has a meticulous and passionate heart. He is a person who truly works hard for his career. I believe that what you said today was all out of anger, but please don't hurt Nan like this again. After a pause, he said, You don't want him, I want him. Chapter 1050. With that, Si Chuanbai decisively hung up the video call. Nan's eyes widened. How could Mr. C be so calm and decisive? Boo-hoo, he never dared to hang up on his family. Si Chuanbai turned around and their eyes met. Sorry. Both of them spoke at the same time. Si Chuanbai pursed his lips. You go first. I'm sorry to have caused you trouble again. Also, I'm not as good as you say. I know that I can't compare to you in terms of work ability, and I can't help my good girl, Xiangyi with her resources. It's only because she doesn't despise me that I can make a living. Ah, Nan's voice was as soft as a mosquito's. He was obviously feeling inferior. Si Chuanbai frowned. No, you're very good. You're very capable, and you treat your artists with sincerity. You're definitely qualified to be a manager. Later on, Mr. C said a lot more. Ah, Nan couldn't remember clearly. He only remembered that he seemed to have cried. He heard a soft sigh above his head, followed by a warm hand caressing his head. Si Chuanbai rubbed the little colorful fur on his head and said in a serious tone, "Since you like me and I like you, why don't we get married?" Ah, Nan looked up. Ha! Don't worry. Although I don't have much assets, I only have a few properties in South City and a building. I'll add your name to each property. If you like to work, you can work. If you don't, you can collect rent. I'll take care of all the household chores. As for cooking, I've already signed up for a training class. Now, I can make basic home-cooked dishes. Wait. Ah, Nan interrupted him, his voice trembling. Are you talking to me? What else? Is there a second person here? Ah, Nan held his breath. Ah, Nan's vision turned black, and he almost fainted. No, this can't be true. Ah, Nan closed his eyes, counted from 1 to 99, and opened his eyes. Si Chuanbai's strict and cold face was still in front of him. Ah, Nan slipped away without any hesitation. Si Chuanbai took 2 steps forward and paused. Could it be that he had misunderstood something? This is the story of my friend A and friend B. Ah, Nan braced himself and finished the story. Xiangyi hugged Xiao Naofu, and the cat and human nodded in unison. Okay, I understand. So it was Si Chuanbai who confessed to Ah Nan, but Ah Nan was too flustered and didn't respond. Ah Nan mumbled, then do you think my friend A and friend B should be together? Xiangyi said with a smile, that depends on you. Did little darling discover something? It depends on how you persuade your friend. If one truly liked someone, then age, gender, family background, and IQ were not the biggest obstacles. What's important is whether or not the two of them can walk down this path with determination and tolerance. Ah Nan, I don't know about that either, Xiangyi, then you can tell your friend. If you don't like it, you don't have to force yourself. Communicate with him properly, and we'll still be friends. Ah Nan was in a daze for a long time before he said softly. What if I like her? Unrequited love was the most humble form of love. The person he liked was as unattainable as the moon. Therefore, he had hidden his love for her in the most unknown corner of his heart. But now, the moonlight shone in. Before Xiangyi could speak, Xiao Naofu jumped off her lap and kicked Ah Nan in the face. Hurry up and be with this hoo-hoo, ah meow. Ah Nan woke up from his dream and ran out without looking back. He wanted to climb up that ray of light and land on the one and only moon in this world. P.S. See, Nan's story can't be written anymore. There are quite a lot of restrictions now, so let's just assume that the two people in the story are happy and fulfilled. Good night. Chapter 1051. Looking at Ah Nan stumbling but running forward without hesitation, Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents. They were a perfect couple. Oh yeah, even Xiao Naofu couldn't help but exclaim, "You're making me anxious." Meow meow. Although it could speak human language, it still couldn't help but instinctively roar like a tiger. Xiangyi rubbed the back of its neck a few times and teased. Xiao Naofu, have you gained weight again? Why do you feel like you've gotten heavier? No. Xiao Naofu was extremely guilty. It just ate an extra can of cat food, 2 bowls of cat food, and some dried fish every day. Besides, little white tiger was the one who fed it, not the other way around. It was as good as not eating at all. Stupid woman, you're really bad at math. Really? Xiangyi was very puzzled. Ever since she and Shui started filming the show, they had entrusted Xiao Naofu to Xiang Yi's grandfather. According to Xiang Yi's grandfather, Xiao Naofu's appetite seemed to be quite normal. But why did it become as fat as two cats? Its V-shaped face turned into a small round face, then an oval face. Could it be? Xiang Yi squinted. Someone fed you. Xiao Naofu's fur immediately stood on end. Lord Huhu didn't feed me. They looked at each other. Xiao Naofu pretended to be innocent. Meow meow, it didn't say anything. It was just an ordinary and mediocre kitten. At this moment, there was a fluctuation in the air. Xiangyi looked over sharply. What came into view was a pink paw pad. She wanted to pinch it. The little white tiger dug out a hole and exasperatedly said, "Stupid, stupid, stupid. So stupid. You're giving me face just like that. Stupid cat. Fat cat." Xiao Naofu said aggrievedly, "I'm not a cat, I'm a big brain, a wolf, I am." Me too, look at that ignorant face of yours. Now, I will let you see this Huhu's true body. What is a real brain? Big old axe. Cough, big tiger. The little white tiger cursed in its heart. It was all because of that stupid rabbit and this stupid cat. Both of them had distorted its pure accent. Xiangyi was also a little curious. What did the little white tiger look like? However, he remained vigilant. The little white tiger sensed it and muttered, "Stupid woman." Its body suddenly enlarged and expanded in the air. Shua, a white tiger with a snow-white body appeared. Its fur was soft and lustrous, and it danced without any wind. It was majestic and awe-inspiring, with a hint of sacred aura. When he opened his mouth again, even his voice had changed from a childish one to a deep and powerful one. "Fat cat, do you know how powerful this Huhu is now?" Wow, Xiao Naofu's pure cat eyes were filled with yearning. Woo, this is what I want to be. Xiangyi felt a sharp pain in the depths of her brain, and her face turned slightly pale. Fortunately, her willpower was astonishing, and she didn't show any abnormalities. The sharp pain lasted for about a few seconds, and a few blurry images flashed past, like incomplete fragments. However, among those fragments, the figure of the white tiger gnawing on a carrot appeared. Pudgy, the white tiger in the air shook and shrank back to its original size like a deflated balloon. It looked at Xiangyi in shock. How could it be her? Could it be that this is the price Lord Shui had to pay for giving up everything back then? After a moment, Xiangyi returned to normal and probed. Do you want to eat carrots? It wouldn't be too much to bribe Xiao Naofu to find out the whereabouts of his good friend, little Shiji, right? Chapter 1052. Little White Tiger exclaimed sternly, "I'm not eating." A few minutes later. Little White Tiger munched on the carrot, enjoying it more than a rabbit. "If you have any questions, just ask. I haven't eaten carrots in a long time. These carrots are so fragrant." Xiangyi asked, "How's little Shiji?" I remember that it's almost done with the mission and has enough points. Although it had a cheat, that guy was really hardworking and had been on the verge of death several times. However, it had finally accumulated enough points, and it was double the points. Did it get hurt? Did it have enough to eat? Did it get bullied, meow? Xiao Naofu asked anxiously. Little White Tiger said in frustration, "Stupid cat. I'm the one who feeds you every day, atrocious. Why does it care so much about that stupid lion?" Xiao Naofu couldn't be bothered about being called a cat. It asked with tears in its eyes, "Can I see it again?" Little White Tiger said, "You can, but it won't remember you by then. According to the rules, it can retain its memories after being reincarnated as an animal, but it just had to be reincarnated as a human this time. Xiao Naofu was stunned. Xiangyi frowned too. Will it forget everything? Of course, even if it remembers, it'll only have a few memory fragments at most. Or if it sees you, it might have a sense of déjà vu. Xiangyi and Xiao Naofu both fell silent. Little White Tiger swayed its legs in the air, thinking, beg me. If you do, I'll consider letting you in through the back door. However, after waiting for a long time, Xiao Naofu pounced into Xiangyi's arms and sobbed. Xiangyi stroked its little head and sighed softly. She thought of something and looked at Little White Tiger. You still owe Xiao Naofu a chance to reincarnate. The Little White Tiger grinned. I remember. Originally, it could only reincarnate into a white tiger as handsome and charming as me. But, that stupid lion also helped it earn some points. What do you mean? Xiangyi guessed and her heart sank. It means that it can also reincarnate as a human, but, like little Shiji, it won't have any memories. Xiao Naofu sobbed, I won't reincarnate, I don't want to be separated from this stupid woman. If you don't want it, you can only live for 10 or 20 years as a cat. Sooner or later, you will have to separate from her. Xiao Naofu was at a loss. What should it do? At this moment, Xiangyi's gentle and quiet voice sounded. Xiao Naofu, give me your paws. Xiao Naofu didn't know what was going on, but it had complete trust in Xiangyi and extended its little paw towards Xiangyi. A soft, furry ball. He held the girl's fair and delicate hand. I believe that we will meet again one day. Even if you and little Shiji have forgotten about me, I'll still be able to tell you apart from the crowd. Trust me, okay? The Little White Tiger watched this scene with interest. Where did her confidence come from? Xiao Naofu was touched and sobbed. But I don't want to be separated from you. Xiangyi smiled and said, let's pinky swear, it's a deal, okay? The two of them hooked and the Little White Tiger said, Xiao Naofu, come with me then. I'll take you to reincarnate now. Don't worry, I'll definitely reincarnate you into a happy, rich, and pampered family. As for little Shiji. I'll just throw it away. As it spoke, it stole a glance at Xiangyi. This stupid woman didn't discover anything, did she? Chapter 1053. Xiao Naofu nodded foolishly with tears in its eyes. However, Xiangyi said, let's wait for a while. It won't be too late to go after the wedding. Xiao Naofu, aren't you going to be my flower boy? Xiao Naofu meowed. Yeah, I almost forgot about the important thing. Little White Tiger secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Good that you don't know. Feeling guilty, it coughed and said, Little Shiji has enough points anyway. Forget it, since Fat Cat is so pitiful, I'll let it be the flower boy too. It then began to dig a hole in the air. Wait for me, I'll be back soon. Xiangyi was dumbfounded. Is it that kind? It can't be that, it's here to make up for it because it's guilty of doing something bad, right? At the same time, the live stream of Xiangyi and Shui's wedding had already become a hot topic on Weibo. It was followed by the word, explosive. It had also become a hot topic on various overseas social media platforms. It was no exaggeration to say that it had caused a sensation on the internet and even around the world. In the live stream, the number of viewers increased from a few million to tens of millions. This time, the entire technical department of Xingchen worked overtime and even invited many god-level experts to help stabilize the situation. If it were any other live stream website, the live stream would have collapsed. In the live stream. Hello everyone, I'm your dear Xiao Yuyu. Li Jinyu waved at the camera with a radiant smile. The audience began to criticize him. Good boy, mommy's good boy, I'm yelling, son, don't come out and embarrass yourself, okay? Hurry up and take a picture of Sister E and Shui. Take a picture of the wedding. You'd better take a picture of the bridal chamber and send me a copy. Li Jianyu didn't care about the teasing in the live stream, which was actually quite rare in the industry. Many artists were eccentric and stubborn, and Li Jianyu, who could get along well with netizens, was an exception. Okay, Xiao Yuyu is disgusting. Shaoli, will that do? Li Jianyu seemed to be helpless. Today, Shaoli will bring you guys to watch the wedding of Shi Sui and Xiangyi. Let everyone experience what it feels like to be a couple on the spot. Dang, this is the main venue of the wedding. The camera turned at the right time to show the scenery. The architectural style was like a church, and the interior was romantic and fresh. The main colors were white and pink. Flowers were flown in by air everywhere. It was like a sea of flowers. Just the floral design alone had shocked countless people. Professionals, what kind of godly design is this? This color scheme, this flower arrangement, this design, this combination. There were at least dozens of flower materials. Many of them were rare breeds. How much money would that have cost? Ordinary netizens, F*CK. It was F*King beautiful. In front of the screen, the netizens frantically took screenshots. When the camera panned to the audience, everyone from the Xiang family was there. Everyone's hands that were taking screenshots sped up. This whole family was too good-looking. Especially Madame Xiang. Her temperament made everyone realize what it meant to be a lady from a respectable family. She was the daughter of a socialite. However, some netizens also noticed that there was an empty seat. Where's Big Brother? I have a bold guess, me too. Sob, is Xiangyi going to walk the red carpet with Xiangyi? I can't take it anymore, I'm going to cry before it even starts. I believe everyone's done watching. Why don't we go into a commercial break? Hey, who designed the gift of smashing a brick? Can't you spend money to buy spicy sticks? Why did you spend money to smash my Shaoli? Chapter 1054. After Li Jianyu joked around for a while, a staff member gestured to him and he immediately corrected himself. Hee, I'm just teasing you guys. There's no advertisement placement today. The wedding is about to begin. As soon as he said that, the two MCs appeared. A bunch of exclamation marks appeared in the live stream. One was a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, a legend from 20 years ago, and the first person to win an Oscar, Zhao Minglang. The other looked ordinary, with an average appearance and height. When placed in a crowd, he would simply vanish into the crowd. Someone mocked in the live stream, inviting Zhao Minglang is decent, but inviting such an ordinary person is a little degrading, isn't it? As soon as he posted this comment, he realized that the bullet screen was filled with people calling him Daddy. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. Daddy. I'm your long-lost son. Are you guys shameless? Go to the side, this is my daddy. Daddy, I've spent all my pocket money this month, can you transfer me another 5 million? Those who mocked him were still confused. Who's this person? Why are they calling him Daddy? Is this some kind of new meme? Soon, someone explained. Wan Jing was the president of the Huaxi Chamber of Commerce, and his businesses involved farming, animal husbandry, and fishing. To put it simply, he reared more than half of the country's pigs, ducks, fish, and geese. The most admirable thing was that he had been working hard to develop high-tech farming, breeding, and planting. Some people realized that Little Rabbit Farm was working with the Wan family. Was such a small farm really that impressive? Then, its owner, Xiangyi, damn it. In an instant, those who came to their senses began spamming the bullet screen with comments such as, Sister E is awesome, Sister Yi's reputation, and, Sister E is forever a god. Zhao Minglang and Wang Jing pushed each other back and forth, and in the end, Wang Jing picked up the microphone first. Hello, hello. Wang Jing tested the microphone and sounded particularly honest and approachable. Hello everyone, I'm Wang Jing. Today, I'm especially honored to be invited to be the MC for the wedding of Miss Xiangyi and Mr. Shi Sui. Everyone noticed this detail. He said Xiangyi's name first. I met Xiangyi when she was 16 years old. She cultivated the super corn and super soybean seeds, which provided a great help to the country's piglets. Ahem, I digress. Wang Jing had actually come for Xiangyi. Seeing that the little girl has found her Mr. Right, I'm happier than anyone else. Today, I'll give each of the guests a piglet. Laughter rang out at the scene, and some people even jeered, "Are you still alive?" The laughter became even louder. In the live stream, the netizens were calling him Daddy online. Dad! Can't you just give me one? Wang Jing gave a few more blessings and passed the microphone to Zhao Minglang. Zhao Minglang was over 50 years old, but he took good care of himself and looked like he was only in his 30s. He was still as elegant as ever. It's my honor to stand here. Thank you, Mr. Shi Sui and Miss Xiangyi, for your invitation. Shi Sui is a young, excellent, and capable young actor. He's also a mature, steady, and responsible man. I hope that in the future, he can create more glory in his career and be a good husband and father in his marriage. Now, let's welcome the groom, Shi Sui. Shi Sui adjusted his tie and cufflinks and appeared in front of everyone. His black suit and white shirt accentuated his broad shoulders and long legs. His hair was combed back, and his peach blossom eyes seemed to be dyed with the spring breeze. Let's welcome the bride, Xiangyi. Everyone's eyes turned to the end of the red carpet. Chapter 1055. At the scene, a small symphony orchestra played the wedding march. Amidst the sacred and romantic music, Xiangyi appeared in front of everyone in a white wedding gown, holding on to her brother, Sangshan's arm. Next to the tall and sturdy Sangshan, Xiangyi looked slender and petite. The wedding gown she was wearing was exquisite and gorgeous, yet it still retained the vivacity and sweetness of a young girl. The hemline of the gown was decorated with countless fine diamonds, which reflected a bright and dazzling light. All of them were sewn by Xiangqi needle by needle, and no one else had to touch them. It was truly a princess wedding gown prepared for little bunny. The baby fat on her fair little face gradually faded, and she began to have a gorgeous face. She was wearing a beautiful crown on her head, a necklace on her slender swan neck, a bracelet on her milky white wrist, and a snowflake necklace on her earlobes. They were all priceless jewelry. Behind her, Xiao Naofu and little Shiji were wearing bows around their necks. The cat and dog seemed to have gained sentience as they followed behind and raised the petals with their little paws. The haters appeared in the live stream. "Aw, who uses cats and dogs as flower children? That's so disrespectful." Yeah, flower children, flower children. They should be young boys and girls in the first place. Why force pets to do things that go against their nature? She must have abused them in order to train them to scatter the petals. As a caring person of the Animal Protection Association, I strongly protest against such behavior. This time, the spacey tutu girls, who had always been passive, stood up. Do some people grow their mouths just so they can't speak human language? The Shi Sui sisters were even more direct. It's a joyous day, shut up if you don't want to die, smiley face. As for the untimely couple, they were even more furious. Whoever stops my husband and wife from getting married today, I'll have an irreconcilable feud with that person. Even the netizens were displeased and stood up to send their blessings, drowning out the comments of the retards. Everyone watched as Xiangyi walked towards Shi Sui. Sangshan stopped in his tracks and secretly gritted his teeth. He really couldn't take it lying down. However, when he saw little bunny looking at Shi Sui with glowing eyes, he felt bitter and indignant, but there was nothing he could do. Sure sway, Sanction said in a low and powerful voice that seemed to be cold, making the guests below the stage feel their hearts skip a beat. The netizens were also on tenterhooks. They had a feeling that the devil was going to run away with his sister in the next second. However, this was the scene that they had been waiting for. Sanction placed Xiangyi's hand. Sure sway's palm. I watched her grow up. In the future, please, protect her well. I don't care what the world says, but even if she becomes someone's wife and mother, she will always be my sister. After a few seconds, the man said in a hoarse voice, from today onwards, I'll hand my sister over to you. Xiangyi felt a lump in her throat and tears welled up in her eyes. Sanction wiped her tears away. He wasn't good at coaxing people and he had probably given all his patience and gentleness to little Bunny. Don't cry, Tutu is the most beautiful bride today. Below the stage, the Xiang brothers were all teary-eyed. Madame Xiang wiped the corners of her eyes with a handkerchief before wiping them for Xiang Yin. Xiang Yin insisted, what are you wiping for? I'm not crying. Madame Xiang was speechless. You're clearly wetting the handkerchief. Forget it, I'd better not expose this old man. What a tsundere. Chapter 1056. On the stage. Sure Sui held Xiangyi's hand tightly and said in a deep voice, I will protect Tutu with my life. Sanction nodded and strode off the stage, not daring to look at Xiangyi again. In the live stream, the netizens burst into tears. Big Brother's words are so sweet. Oh my God, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Big Brother's eyes are red. Although everyone teases Sanction for being a demon, I want to say that he's Xiangyi's guardian angel. The two MCs were also moved. However, they still had to continue presiding over the wedding. Wan Jing and Zhao Minglang looked at each other, after which Zhao Minglang gestured for them to proceed. Wan Jing straightened his expression and said loudly, Sure Sui, are you willing to marry Xiangyi and make her your wife, and for the rest of your life, be it good times or bad, you will be loyal to each other and never leave each other? Sure Sui said without hesitation, yes. Zhao Minglang continued, Xiangyi, Sure Sui, are you willing to marry Sure Sui and make him your husband, and for the rest of your life, be it good times or bad, you will be loyal to each other and never leave each other? Xiangyi said firmly, yes. Today, I am here to witness the marriage of the two of you. I hope you will grow old together and live happily ever after. Today, I am here to witness the marriage of the two of you. I wish you a happy marriage and have children soon. The crowd immediately cheered. Xiao Naofu wagged its tail excitedly, only to have its tail hooked by little Shiji. Xiao Naofu was still immersed in joy and didn't realize it at all. It was looking at Sure Sui and Xiangyi, but little Shiji was looking at it. Little Shiji quietly inched closer to it. Ah! Blessings from all over the world filled the comments section. Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations, newlyweds! I am the Civil Affairs Bureau, I declare you legal. Huh? Shaoli, you already have a travel story. Hurry up and plan the baby taking part. Under everyone's gazes. Sure Sui smiled. Hello, Mrs. Sure. Xiangyi smiled gently. Hello, Mr. Sure. The crowd was in an uproar. Kiss me, kiss me. Quick, 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 give me a kiss. Director Li, hurry up and come on stage to massage his head. Li Jinyu laughed and scolded, F***ck you guys, do you think it's my turn? In the next second, Sure Sui held the back of Xiangyi's head. His eyes were deep and seductive, revealing an indescribable depth. A kiss landed on Xiangyi's lips. Under the transparent dome, two figures seemed to be bathed in the light. Wow! At the scene, some people clapped excitedly, some cheered, and some whistled. After a long time, Shui finally pulled away from Xiangyi. Li Jianyu urged, "Come on, let's take a photo together." There were actually not many people invited to the wedding this time. Everyone squeezed together and there was just enough space on the stage. The netizens in the live stream had already begun spamming the screen. "Check in as a memento, take a screenshot. Let me squeeze too." At the scene, Xiangyi had her grandparents, 4 brothers, uncles, and aunts by her side. There were her good friends Jiang Jojo, Su Tumi, and Mo Feifei. There were also the adorable Xiao Naofu and little Shiji. There was also Shui, whose fingers were tightly intertwined with each other. Everyone's smile was incomparably brilliant. 3, 2, 1. With a click, the photographer pressed the shutter. Everything froze at the most beautiful moment. Chapter 1057. After a rainstorm, the temperature in southern city plummeted. It had been some time since the wedding. In the afternoon in Little Rabbit Manor, Xiangyi was wrapped in a small blanket and staring at the photo of Xiao Naofu and little Shiji on the tablet. How are they now? Time turned back. After the live stream of the wedding ended, the netizens finally found out that Shui and Xiangyi's wedding venue turned out to be Iceland. Besides, Shui had bought that island when she was 24 years old and named it Tutu Island. Everyone thought, when Shui was 24 years old, Sister Yi was only 17 years old. That dog of a man has indeed been harboring designs on Sister Yi for a long time. Sister, mommy, brother, uncle, and grandpa were all furious. The fans who were in favor of the couple were extremely sweet. The sweetest couple in the entertainment industry is definitely the untimely couple. Shui and Xiangyi's wedding was celebrated on the internet for several days. However, Xiangyi welcomed the time to bid farewell to Xiao Naofu and little Shiji. On Iceland, Xiao Naofu huffed and puffed as it built 4 snowmen. Xiangyi could barely recognize that the bigger one was Shui, the smaller one was her, and the other 2 were little Shiji and itself. Is paw cold? Xiangyi picked up Xiao Naofu and stuffed its chubby paws into her gloves. Xiao Naofu said, "I'm not cold at all." Achoo! Little Shiji moved closer to it and tried to transfer its body temperature to it. Okay, I told you that I would give you a good reincarnation," Little White Tiger said impatiently in the air. However, it somehow felt a little upset when it saw Xiangyi's red eyes. Last 5 minutes. To her surprise, Xiao Naofu refused. "No need, I'll leave now." It jumped onto the ground and raised its chubby little face. "Hey, dog of a man, you must take good care of this stupid woman in the future." Shui raised her eyebrows, but she was too lazy to argue with it. Xiao Naofu turned his face away, refusing to look at Xiangyi. He only said in a muffled voice, "I will remember you, I definitely will. I'll find you." Sob. It sobbed. "So you must wait for me," Xiangyi said in a nasal voice. "Yes. Goodbye, stupid." Xiao Naofu paused. Its icy blue eyes were clear and flawless, and its voice was soft as it called out Xiangyi's name seriously for the first time. "Xiangyi." Then, it walked into the hole that Little White Tiger had dug. Little Shiji nodded at Xiangyi and Shui before following closely behind Xiao Naofu. In a flash, so many days had passed. Xiao Naofu should have successfully reincarnated, right? Xiangyi wrapped herself in the blanket and took a sip of the scented tea on the small coffee table. It was her favorite jasmine tea, but at this moment, she felt nauseous when she smelled its fragrance. Was it because she had been eating too greasy food recently? Just as Xiangyi was about to check her pulse, her phone rang with its exclusive ringtone. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and she accepted the video call. Shui's handsome face appeared on the screen. The man was on set, and there were people walking past behind him. Tutu, are you hungry? Xiangyi said helplessly, you just called an hour ago. Who would have thought that Shui would become so clingy after marriage? Sorry, Tutu, if you don't like it, I'll try my best to contact you less. Shui looked down, looking weak, helpless, and pitiful. But can you contact me at least 10 times a day? If not, 8 times. Xiangyi was speechless. Chapter 1058. After coaxing Shui for a few minutes, Shui reluctantly agreed. They contacted each other 5 times a day. That was just a video call. Basically, the two of them would share their daily lives whenever they had a meal or saw something interesting. Before hanging up the video call, Xiangyi casually mentioned that she felt a little uncomfortable. Shui nodded calmly and said, okay, got it. It was past 8:00 in the evening. Xiangyi lay on the sofa and watched a movie for a while, only to feel extremely sleepy. How strange. Her biological clock was very accurate. She would usually get sleepy around 10:00. I seem to be getting sleepy a little early today. Her cell phone vibrated and Xiangyi forced herself to look at it. Jiang Jojo, oh, I'm pregnant. Jiang Jojo, sob, I'm so nervous. Jiang Jojo, what should I do, what should I do? I read a sadomasochistic novel last night. It's about a husband who would imprison his wife and dig out her heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys for the sake of his lover. There's also a Rose who would come to the door and humiliate her before asking for her baby's umbilical cord blood. What if it happens to me too? Xiangyi, Fu Jiayan probably doesn't have the guts to do that. Xiangyi, I suggest you keep the audio and video recordings as evidence and hand them over to the police in time. Let the scumbag couple be tried by the law. The penalty for illegal detention is at least 3 years of imprisonment, the penalty for selling human organs is more than 5 years of imprisonment, the penalty for intentional homicide is death, life imprisonment, or more than 10 years of imprisonment. Jiang Jojo was speechless. She suddenly felt much calmer. Xiangyi, by the way, I have to correct some common medical knowledge. There are 5 major principles for organ transplants. First, informed consent. Second, respect the principles. Third, effectiveness. Fourth, no commercialization. Fifth, confidentiality. Sixth, ethical review. In addition, there may be rejection after the transplant. Immediately afterwards, a bunch of medical terms made Jiang Jojo's head spin. She hurriedly made a video call. After the call was connected, Jiang Jojo rambled on and on. Thousands of words could be summed up into 4 words, at a loss. Xiangyi patiently told her some things to pay attention to in the early stages of pregnancy and recommended a few books. Although Jiang Jojo was extremely talented in the violin, she would get a headache whenever she read. She said in distress, okay, I'll try my best to read. Xiangyi said, not only you, but Fu Jiayan should also learn more about it. Here, take a look at him. Jiang Jojo spun her cell phone and took a photo of Fu Jiayan who was in the corner. The man cried miserably, woo-woo, Jojo and I have a baby. Jiang Jojo sighed and said, ah, I just think Fu Jiayan is too childish. If it were Shui, he definitely wouldn't be like this. Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. After chatting with Jiang Jojo for a while, she suddenly realized something and said goodbye to her before hanging up. Xiangyi checked her own pulse. Xiangyi nodded calmly. At this moment, the sound of the fingerprint lock being unlocked was heard. Xiangyi looked at the door, only to see 2 travel-worn figures appear in front of her in the dark of the night. Si Chuanbai's face turned pale. Sister E, can I use acupuncture to treat motion sickness? Yes. Xiangyi hurriedly went to look for the medical kit and asked curiously, Mr. C, I thought you don't get carsick. Si Chuanbai said feebly, you'll have to ask your husband about that. He drove today. Shi Sui said innocently, maybe I drove a little too fast. Si Chuanbai was very tired. How can you call that a little too fast? You were driving at the speed of a racer, okay. Chapter 1059. Xiangyi smiled and said, his driving skills are good, right? Si Chuanbai wanted to complain, but he suddenly remembered that Xiangyi could drive the car with special effects and immediately shut up. After removing the needle and disinfecting it, Xiangyi found the right acupoint and performed acupuncture on Si Chuanbai. After a while, Si Chuanbai said with surprise in his eyes, I don't feel dizzy anymore. It works really quickly. Mr. C, it's good that you're all right. Why don't you stay and rest tonight? No, Nan is still waiting for me at home. Si Chuanbai glanced at Shi Sui, who was smiling ambiguously. If he really stayed, this possessive dog of a man would definitely set him up in the future. Shi Sui and Xiangyi walked Si Chuanbai to the door. On the way back, Xiangyi said casually, I'm going to be a mother. Huh? Are you a fan? Shi Sui thought that she and Jiang Jojo were watching the recently popular talent show and were either fans of the contestants or fans of the contestants. Xiangyi shook her head and said, you're going to be a father too. Shi Sui said calmly, okay. The two of them took a few steps forward and all of a sudden, Shi Sui stopped in his tracks and grabbed her slender wrist. Xiangyi asked in puzzlement, what's wrong? Shi Sui's Adam's apple bobbed and his gaze was even darker than the night sky. His deep voice trembled slightly. What did you say? I'm going to be a mother and you're going to be a father. Shi Sui took a deep breath and asked, are you pregnant? Yes, my pulse is stable and the baby and I are both very healthy. Xiangyi was very confident in her medical skills. If she really couldn't do it, she still had her grandfather around. Shi Sui stood rooted to the ground for more than 10 seconds. He took off his jacket and draped it over Xiangyi's body. He wanted to carry Xiangyi back but was afraid that it wouldn't be safe, so he carefully held on to Xiangyi. I'll hold you and let's talk inside. It's too cold outside. It seemed logical and calm, but Xiangyi could tell that his voice was trembling even more. Xiangyi wanted to laugh. It's normal to be pregnant. Don't be too nervous. Shi Sui did not say a word and just supported her steadily. In the living room, Shi Sui helped Xiangyi to sit on the sofa and covered her with a blanket. She lowered her eyes and no one knew what she was thinking. Are you unhappy? Xiangyi guessed. I understand. Not everyone likes children. Shi Sui's voice was hoarse. I'm not unhappy. He held Xiangyi's hand and pressed it against his heart. Bang, 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 the touch on his palm was warm and strong. His heartbeat was far beyond normal. Shi Sui's deep eyes were filled with confusion and panic. I never thought that I would have a child. Xiangyi blinked and seemed to have realized something. She wrapped her arms around Shi Sui's neck and asked gently, are you afraid? Shi Sui laughed at himself. Yes, he was afraid. I'm sorry. I should be protecting you and the baby. Let me sort out my emotions, it's okay. There was a sweet smile in her soft voice. Protecting is mutual. I will protect you too. When the baby grows up, it will also protect you. No matter how dark his childhood was or how cruel human relationships were, he had never shed a single tear. At this moment, for the first time in his life, Shi Sui had the urge to cry. He leaned his forehead against Xiangyi's. I love you. Xiangyi smiled. I love you too. In the void, little white tiger covered its eyes with its paws and only peeked at the two of them through the gaps. That fat cat was already in Xiangyi's stomach. It wasn't biased. Chapter 1060. It just thought that the fat cat was cute, and it saw its past self in it. It was afraid that it would suffer in the future, so it found a good family for the fat cat. Lord Shui didn't need to say anything. He had passed the tribulation that he should have endured. In the future, his luck in this world would definitely be top-notch. As for that stupid woman. That was it. She just had a better family background, was a little prettier, and had more people doting on her. Well. However, little white tiger looked at Xiangyi with yearning. She would definitely be a good mother in the future. He really envied the fat cat. As for it, who knew how long it would be the keeper of order? It could be thousands or tens of thousands of years. Before Xiangyi went to bed, she told everyone about her pregnancy in the family group. No one replied in the group, probably because they were all busy. She didn't think much about it and sent a good night before falling asleep. Little did she know, at the esports base. Bang! Xiangyu finished off an opponent cleanly, and his teammates all cheered him on. Sameo Gu is awesome. Bro, carry me. The best sniper in the league. Xiangyu ignored them coldly. His phone buzzed and vibrated. Taking advantage of the gap between the game character changing equipment, he glanced at it and instantly stopped. 1 second, 2 seconds, his teammates kept reporting, ready to start the team battle, but Xiangyu didn't move. F*CK, Sameo Gu, what are you doing? Xiangyu pushed the keyboard and mouse away. You guys play, I have something urgent. Everyone expressed their understanding, but they still couldn't help but wail, my rank. Xiangyu rushed to the balcony and paced back and forth for a long time, telling himself to calm down. Calm down, my ass. How could he calm down? His sister was pregnant. He wanted to reply, but his sister had already said goodnight. He was afraid of disturbing her, so he hesitated for a while. Xiangyu began to look up pregnancy knowledge. At the research institute, Xiangli had just finished an experiment. Fatty came over and said with a smile, I heard that there's new progress in your experiment. Your laboratory will definitely win the medical research award next month. Maybe. Xiangli had never cared about these empty titles. He took out his phone and the moment he saw the WeChat message, his reaction was exactly the same as Xiangyu's. Exhale, inhale, Fatty panicked. Bro, are you alright? I'll call the doctor right away. No need. Xiangli pushed up his glasses and said calmly. Are you sure? Your hands are shaking. It's alright. Xiangli said, help me prepare a batch of books. Brother, go ahead. Fatty was overjoyed. He thought that Wang Yao had some new ideas and wanted to get some information from the National Library. That was a top-secret library. Even in their research institute, there weren't many researchers who had access to it. I want all the authoritative books on pregnancy and pregnancy. Oh right, I also want books on children's education. Forget it, give me a set of primary, middle, and high school textbooks as well. Fatty. Was Dr. Xiang going to change his profession? At the design studio, Xiang Qi was sewing a dress for his sister. The assistants were used to it, but they still couldn't help teasing him. Hades, you've made too many dresses for your sister. She probably won't be able to wear them all. This wasn't an exaggeration at all. In addition to the dresses he sewed himself, every time his brand released a new product, he would send it to Xiangyi immediately. What do you know? If she can't wear them all, I'll let my future niece wear them. Xiang Qi had just finished showing off when his phone vibrated twice. Chapter 1061. When he finished reading Xiangyi's message, boom, Xiang Qi was dumbfounded. Xiang Qi was in a trance. The assistants were extremely nervous. Hades, are you alright? What's the matter? Are you feeling unwell? Xiang Qi remained in a petrified state for dozens of seconds before suddenly bursting into laughter. He looked like a demon, but more like a demon. The assistants looked at each other in dismay. Has Hades gone crazy? Oh no, there are many examples of artists going crazy. Hades is a design genius, could he have gone crazy? I have a little niece, ha 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 ha. Xiang Qi was elated. Go, bring me all the newly dyed fabric. I want to make some clothes for my niece. Onesies, cotton-padded jackets, quilts. I have to arrange everything for her. I have to make the most beautiful and adorable ones in the world. Everyone was enlightened. It seems that Hades' sister is pregnant. Someone couldn't help but say, are you sure it's a little niece? What if it's a little nephew? Xiang Qi's smile froze. A moment later, he roared, impossible. It's definitely a little niece. Everyone hurriedly chimed in, yes, yes, it's definitely a little niece. However, they were muttering in their hearts, if it's a little nephew, Hades will probably go crazy. He was furious. At Lynchen Law Firm. The law firm had a flexible working system. Apart from the lawyers who had to appear in court, everyone else was free to come to work at their own time. A few night owls were handling the cases on hand and glancing at the big boss's room from time to time. Big Boss is indeed worthy of being called the Demon King by the entire internet. He's simply a ruthless work machine. Is there nothing in this world that can make him stop working? Just as everyone was secretly criticizing him, the office door opened. Sanction was dressed in a formal suit that accentuated his broad shoulders and long legs. He was born with a strong aura and was full of oppression. Everyone hurriedly greeted him. Hello, boss. Good evening, Lawyer Xiang. Lawyer Xiang, would you like to order supper together? Sanction didn't seem to hear them and walked towards a female employee. Everyone. Coming. Are they going to act out the tyrannical lawyer falling in love with me? Woo woo woo. Could he finally wait for the iron tree to bloom? But, that female employee seemed to be married. The female employee felt her scalp go numb when the Demon King appeared in front of her. Sanction asked, excuse me, are there any places around here that sell mother and baby products? Ha! The female employee hurriedly recommended a few shopping malls and imported supermarkets. Sanction thanked him and strode out of the law firm. Everyone was dumbfounded. Is Lawyer Xiang skipping work today? Mother and baby products. Could it be that Lawyer Xiang is pregnant? The child's mother is here. Everyone started gossiping. The next day, Xiangyi stretched and got up to wash up. Xiangyi slept soundly, probably because she was open-minded and had a good physique. Just as he stepped out of the door, Xiangyi was stunned. The living room was full of people. She stared blankly at the clock on the wall. That's right, it was only 7 in the morning. Why are big brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother, youngest uncle, and youngest aunt all here? Brother, what are you guys doing here? Xiangyi asked as she took a step forward. Xiang Yu exclaimed, don't move. Xiangyi got a shock and almost lost her balance. Xiang Feng chided, do you know that you're scaring little Xiangyi? As he spoke, he dashed towards Xiangyi and said, don't be afraid, I've already prepared a wheelchair for you. Xiangyi was dumbfounded. Chapter 1062. Xiangyi was speechless as she watched her uncle push the wheelchair over. She was pregnant, not a fracture. Why did she have to sit in a wheelchair? Xiang Wan said fiercely, get over here. Aren't you ashamed of being a grown-up? You want to sit in a wheelchair? Come, I'll satisfy you. I'll break your legs. Xiang Feng said weakly, don't think I'm afraid of you. It's the old man who taught me to follow my heart, forget about it. After Xiang Wan finished complaining, She looked at Xiangyi and said softly, "Grandpa and Grandma will be here soon. They went to bed early last night and only found out this morning." Xiangyi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "It's just a pregnancy. There's no need to make such a big fuss, no. Pregnancy is a big deal." She was right. The Xiang family was very protective of each other and had a deep relationship. Everyone was happy to have a new member. Just then, the kitchen door was pulled open and the aroma of rice filled the air. Shi Sui was wearing an apron and looked like a good husband and father. He said gently, "Tutu is awake. Wash your hands and get ready to eat." Everyone took their seats. Xiang Qi said warily, "You're not acting for us, are you? Do you usually order Tutu to cook for you?" Shi Sui smiled and didn't explain. He served porridge to everyone. Xiangyi quickly said, "Ever since we got together, he's always been the one cooking. I'm just an assistant at most." "That's more like it." It was rare that Xiang Qi didn't bring a bowl this time. Everyone looked at him awkwardly with a small bowl. "By the way, I made a lot of little clothes for my little niece overnight. I'll make little shoes for her later." Xiangyi said helplessly, "It might not be a girl, it must be. I have a feeling." Xiang Qi was very confident. Xiang Feng also laughed heartily. "Hey, imagine, soon there will be a white and soft little boy calling me uncle and master, he he he." Xiang Yu also looked forward to it. Xiang Li and Sanction did not show it, but they could not help but imagine it. Little Munchkin, who had 2 buns tied up in a pretty little dress, ran over and opened his chubby arms. He called out in a soft and sweet voice, "Little Munchkin, I'm so happy that I'm happy. Uncle, carry me." Just thinking about it made him feel good. Before long, Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang were there too. The 2 elders didn't even have time to eat breakfast. One took Xiangyi's pulse first, and the other took Xiangyi back to the room to talk. Xiang Feng asked expectantly, "Old man, a boy or a girl?" Xiang Yin rolled his eyes and asked, "What did you call me?" Xiang Feng reacted with a shudder and hurriedly slid to his knees. "Father." If it were any other time, Xiang Yin would definitely chase after him and beat him up. However, he was in a good mood today and couldn't be bothered to hold it against him. It's still too early to tell. Moreover, it was not accurate to just rely on the pulse. But... A bunch of people looked at Xiang Yin with glistening eyes. Xiang Yin said firmly, "I've already asked an old friend to read his fortune. It must be a girl. She's as adorable as Tutu when she was a child." Xiang Feng said, "Dad, this is just superstition, little rascal, come here." The living room was bustling with activity. Shi Sui stood at the side with a smile on his thin lips. Daughter is great. He didn't even think about having a son. In midair, the little white tiger was trembling with fear. Oh no, I feel like I'm going to screw up. I've reincarnated the fat cat into a boy. Forget it, I'd better run for my life. Otherwise, Shi Sui will definitely want to eat tiger meat hot pot. I haven't realized that little Shiji has also been reincarnated successfully. Chapter 1063. The little white tiger scurried away immediately. There seemed to be a fluctuation in the air, but apart from Shi Sui, no one noticed anything unusual. Shi Sui squinted with a trace of danger in her eyes. That little white tiger better not stir up any trouble. Ha! Yi is pregnant too. After Jiang Jojo heard the news, she was overjoyed. Hubby, if Yi's baby is a girl and ours is a boy, we'll arrange a betrothal. If both of them are girls, we'll be best friends from a young age. Fu Jian asked, what if it's 2 boys? There was silence. A few seconds later, Jiang Jojo said with a sullen face, Fu Jian, do you want to die? Soon, their family and friends all found out about Xiangyi's pregnancy. However, it hadn't been made public on the internet yet. Since Shui and Xiangyi didn't lack popularity, there was no need for them to hype things up. A few days later, Shui made a cameo appearance in the last drama and stopped all her work. She then rushed home to take care of Xiangyi. Apart from occasionally posting about her daily life, Xiangyi didn't go on Weibo much. Both of them went into hibernation mode, which made their fans anxious. Their career fans cried and begged them to work every day. Which rising artist would stay at home and slack off? The fans of the couple started by begging for a live stream, then asked for a group photo, and in the end, they begged for them to post something on Weibo. The fans were in high spirits and secretly created posts such as, "She's a once-in-a-lifetime beauty." Even Xiangyi has to step aside, Shui is the second most promising actor in the country, and so on. All of a sudden, those people got a lot of resources and hence became even more arrogant. They even had the audacity to criticize Shui and Xiangyi. They said that they were has-been, useless, and didn't care about their fans. The Shui sisters were infuriated to see that those people were getting all the benefits and even criticizing them. On the other hand, the Spicy Tutu fans were very Buddhist and said, "Only by not forgetting your original intentions can you achieve success." The passers-by began to mock them again. However, the Shui sisters immediately understood. I almost forgot about Sister Yi's 100% face-slapping aura. Our Shui now has Sister Yi's protection. Don't panic. As expected. A few days later, all the major movies announced their release dates one after another in an attempt to seize the Spring Festival slot. Among the dozens of officially announced movies, the most eye-catching ones were director Mu Si's Martial Arts and director Yan Zhenhua's Dark Knight is Coming. This one was a standard commercial film with a Hollywood script and big-name actors. Everyone in the industry felt that this film would be able to successfully snipe the Spring Festival slot with an estimated box office of $5 billion. The other movie was more of a mystery, plot, and literary element, which was relatively niche. Of course, with Shui leading the box office, people in the industry felt that the movie would not be bad. The box office was estimated to be relatively conservative, at only $1 billion. However, Shui and Xiangyi both starred in the two movies. Now, Shui's sister and Spicy Tutu could hold their heads high. There's no choice. Our artists only have so many works. The opposing fans said sourly, the box office is still uncertain. Maybe there will be another dark horse. Shui's sister X Spicy Tutu, oh, is that so? Does your artist have any works? Can it be released during the Spring Festival slot? The opposing fans, this group of people turned off their microphones dejectedly, but they thought to themselves, maybe these two movies will flop. The weather was getting colder and colder. In the blink of an eye, it snowed twice in Nanjing. As the Spring Festival was approaching, all the major production teams began to prepare for the release of their films. In addition to the regular release of movie trailers, movie premieres, and media viewing events, this time, many movies tried to do live broadcast promotions. Chapter 1064. Martial Arts and Dark Knight is Coming were no exception. Moreover, the directors of both movies had chosen Little Rabbit Manor as the location for the live stream. The two directors even quarreled secretly. Director Yen, smart. Director Mu, you're the smart one. Director Yen said righteously, I'm trying to use the scenery to express sadness and light to contrast the darkness. I'm using the brightness and warmth of Little Rabbit Farm to set off the gloominess of our movie, Director Mu retorted. I'm also trying to promote Chinese culture and let the audience both at home and abroad understand Chinese flower arrangement, tea ceremony, martial arts, swordsmanship. Director Yen, **T. You're doing this just to eat. Director Mu, you have the cheek to say that to me. Director Yen, if outsiders knew about their quarrel, they would probably die of laughter. These two famous directors who had accumulated billions of box office earnings were actually quarreling over a mouthful of food. It was unimaginable. Relying on his relationship with Shui and being thick-skinned, honest, Director Yen led the crew of A Dark Knight is Coming to Little Rabbit Manor. While the staff was adjusting the equipment, Director Yen put his hands behind his back and looked around like an old man taking a stroll in the park. A gratified smile appeared on his face. Not bad, Xiaohei has gained weight. These ducks look good. They seem to have internal injuries. And these chickens, TSK, they seem to have suffered heatstroke. The staff was speechless. Internal injuries. How could you tell? And heatstroke. Heatstroke in the middle of winter. Director Yen, have some shame. As for the others, they were like fish in the pond and pigs in the granary. Xiangyi had already prepared all kinds of desserts, snacks, and drinks when she heard that they were coming. Everyone's stomachs were already full before the live stream started. The staff cleared his throat and said, the equipment is ready. We can start now. Everyone, we'll temporarily set the live stream to 1 hour, but there will be a Q&A session, so it might take a little longer. All the actors, it's okay. The goose will taste better if it's stewed a little longer. Sister E even marinated the meat. It'll taste better if it's roasted longer. Hey, Sister E said that she's cooking bone broth now. It'll taste great when it's served in hot pot. The staff looked hopeless. Are you here to promote the movie or to eat? I seriously suspect the latter. Okay, let's begin. Millions of viewers flooded in as soon as the live stream started. Compared to Mu Si, Director Yen actually had more influence in the country and had more loyal fans. In the first half of the hour, they were still talking about the movie seriously, but in the second half of the hour, everyone's style started to deviate. It's really too tough for us to make this movie. A veteran actor started the conversation, but the audience didn't think much of it. They thought that it was another cliché about the harsh environment. Unexpectedly, the veteran actor said with a pained heart, "You're too young. Do you know, Sister Yi's cooking is too delicious. But we have to maintain our weight when acting. We can't be thin in the beginning and become fat in the end. Therefore, at most, he could only taste it. This is too torturous." The netizens were stunned for a moment before they started laughing. Do you know who is the happiest person in the crew? It was Director Yen. He's not acting, so he doesn't need to maintain his weight. After filming this movie, Director Yen gained 20 pounds. Yen Zhenhua chuckled and rubbed his stomach. No, it's only 19 pounds. The netizens. Was 19 pounds a little? It was quite a lot. Chapter 1065. The other actors didn't dare to tease Director Yen and could only tease each other. Old Zhang, who was the one who said that he wanted to sever ties with me over a mouthful of braised prawns. TSK, you still have the cheek to say that. Didn't you also say that you can't be brothers over a pineapple bun? And that rascal Rong Hui, he snatches Yen Nai's food every day. Yen Nai has probably never suffered such grievances in his life. Rong Hui and Yen Nai, who had been cued, looked at each other in disdain. Rong Hui humphed openly, looking like a haughty school bully. Yen Nai only dared to criticize in his heart and silently drew circles on the sofa. I curse you. I can't eat your sister's cooking. His fans started cheering. I'm a cult couple. Yen Nai is so cute when he draws circles and curses. What kind of cute little puppy is he? Rong Hui is very arrogant. Has he forgotten that he complained to Xiangyi about being wronged previously? Sure, Sui and Xiangyi didn't talk much, but they had always been the focus of everyone's attention. The two of them talked about their understanding of the script and the characters, which also allowed the netizens to have a deeper understanding of the drama. Shui said, in a sense, this drama doesn't conform to the mainstream setting of the characters. Instead, almost all of them are villains. Every flower of evil that grows in the midst of sin has a strong sense of tragedy. Xiangyi said, compared to the most family-friendly movies that are screened during the Spring Festival, the tone of Night is Coming is heavier. Every character is actually a small figure. The pain, sins, and struggles of the small figures. It has its own unique charm. As the live stream went on, the pre-sales box office also rose steadily. In the past, everyone was used to going to the cinema to buy tickets. Later on, they gradually got used to buying tickets online. Now that it was more convenient, they could buy pre-sales movie tickets a week or even half a month in advance. After more than 50 minutes of the live stream, the pre-sales box office had already exceeded 200 million yuan. This figure had far exceeded director Yan's budget. He was already prepared for this movie to flop. It would be good enough if it could earn more than 100 million yuan. He didn't expect the pre-sales box office to exceed 200 million yuan. The actors were also very happy. The veteran actor from earlier said, when the live broadcast ends, I'm going to eat 2 more bowls of rice to celebrate. A large number of netizens' eyes lit up when they heard this, and they started to refresh the screen. Don't. Let's talk while we eat. That's right. We don't mind watching another mukbang. Director Yan, I bet that if you continue to stream, the box office sales will continue to rise. Yan Zhenhua happened to see these comments during the interactive segment. He thought for a moment, got everyone's approval, and said with a smile, all right then, let's continue with the live broadcast. However, he didn't have much hope in his heart. At most, the box office would increase by a few tens of millions. 30 million was already too much. He was worried that Shui and Xiangyi's popularity would be depleted, so he add another half an hour. The netizens were a little disappointed, but half an hour was better than nothing. Xiangyi had prepared half-finished products, and she directly brought the marinated meat over. Everyone took out the roasting tray and began to roast it. The marinated pork belly was cooked in just a few moments, and the oil was constantly secreted, exuding a tempting fragrance. There was no need to sprinkle chili powder or barbecue sauce on it at all. It was extremely delicious. The netizens were shocked. Countless people began to share the link to the live stream to their friends or social media platforms. The pre-sales box office sales also quietly began to rise. Chapter 1066. Come, freshly roasted pork belly. It's marinated with starch, oyster sauce, star anise, eggs, salt, chili, and other condiments. It's fragrant but not greasy. It's soft and tender. One bite. TSK, this taste is amazing. The veteran actor was the first to comment. Everyone praised. The netizens were also salivating. Of course, while watching the live stream, they did not forget to talk about the plot. They even started a competition to guess who the biggest villain was. The netizens' enthusiasm for participating in the live stream increased. Next, the bullfrog fish head hot pot, stewed goose, braised prawns, chicken, and other dishes were served one after another. Most of the dishes were prepared by Shui, and Xiangyi was only in charge of seasoning. Even so, the taste was already delicious. Director Yan initially wanted to check the box office, but he ended up getting carried away as soon as he started eating. He was the one who ate the fastest. Rong Hui was even more ruthless. He snatched Yan Nai's portion of barbecued meat and stacked it on top of each other before eating it in one bite. Yan Nai was so angry that he wanted to hit him with a pair of tongs. Xiangyi did not touch the greasy dishes on the table and obediently ate the bland dishes. Little did they know that the popularity of the live stream increased from more than 10 million fans to 20 million, then 30 million. The pre-sales box office also increased from 200 million to 300 million, then to 400 million. the industry's jaws almost dropped. What kind of new publicity method is this? Is a live stream publicity so impressive? Compared to conventional Weibo, forums, Tieba, and video publicity, it's so weak. Many friends in the industry called Director Yen and asked him to check the box office. However, Director Yen had placed his phone aside and turned it on silent mode, so they did not notice. The staff reminded them that half an hour had passed. Director Yen then said, "Today's live stream will end here. I hope that the audience can support our movie, Night is Coming. It's the first day of the Lunar New Year, and I'll give you a surprise." The staff hesitated and said, "Director Yen, the audience is very vocal. Why don't we chat for a while more? If we continue chatting, there will be spoilers." Director Yen wiped his oily mouth and continued, "Let's stop here. If you're interested in our movie, remember to go to the cinema and support us." Shi Sui, Xiangyi, and the rest also greeted the audience briefly, and everyone continued eating. The staff was speechless. Fine, Director Yen is still the best. As expected of a famous director. He had strength. How courageous. He cut off the live broadcast. At this moment, Director Yen also got his phone and muttered, "Why are there so many people calling me? Did something happen?" After holding it in for a long time, the staff finally said, "Director Yen, it's exploding." "What's the big deal?" "It's just pre-sales. 200 million is nothing. I have a movie with a box office of 2 billion. Director Yen drank some wine and couldn't help but boast. "Wait for my next movie. I'll make a movie that's worth 5 billion or 10 billion yuan in minutes." The staff member said, "All right, you should take a look at the advance ticket sales." Director Yen picked up his phone and thought that there should be 220 million now. Or 230 million. When he saw the numbers on the screen, Director Yen shuddered. Director Yen sprang to his feet. "How's the box office?" Xiangyi asked curiously. "I wonder how the live broadcast is," Director Yen muttered. We're rich. He turned the phone screen around so that everyone could see the number on it. Arrival of the night, advance ticket sales, 890 million. Chapter 1067. Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. More than 800 million. How is that possible? However, someone secretly used his cell phone to check, only to find that it had increased by another 10 million yuan in just a few minutes. 900 million yuan. In the Chinese film industry, there were many movies that had exceeded 900 million yuan. There were at least 100 of them, but those that had exceeded 900 million yuan in advance sales, there really weren't any. We've broken the record. The veteran actor clenched his fists in excitement. He had never thought that he would be able to act in a movie with such a high box office in his lifetime. The ticketing software also instantly refreshed the box office forecast. Dark Knight is Coming, 3 billion yuan. The breaking of the box office record made it to the hot search on Weibo. At first, the netizens thought that it was just a publicity stunt. Who are you kidding? 900 million yuan in advance sales? Are there that many fools and rich viewers? However, some of the netizens who had watched the live stream and bought tickets stepped forward. What's the big deal? The quality of Director Yan's movies is guaranteed to begin with. Isn't it normal to support the live stream? If you don't understand, just ask. The ticket price is 30 yuan per ticket. There are tens of millions of viewers in the live stream. You can easily buy tickets for 900 million yuan, alright? Yeah, the quality of this movie is amazing just by looking at the trailer. Besides, the actors and actresses seem to be enjoying the live stream so much. I'm curious as to why they're all villains in the movie. Some professionals in the industry stepped forward and lamented. Old Wu watches a movie to be honest, it's no longer the era where good wine is not afraid of the dark alleys. Instead, even good wine is afraid of the dark alleys. I think the live stream publicity this time is worth learning from my peers in the industry. In the past, what's the traditional way of publicity for movies? How many replies can a post get? How many views can a trailer get? As for celebrities going offline for publicity, how many people can sit in a movie theater in a city? Do you understand what I mean? In the past, the publicity was also effective, but the coverage was limited. However, the live stream publicity has narrowed the gap between the movie and the audience for the first time. The director and lead actors will interact with you on the spot and talk about the heavy plot before showing you a live stream. The audience will casually buy tickets to support the movie. What a brilliant publicity technique. Yen Zhenhua was definitely the most intelligent director in the country. A friend took a screenshot of old Wu's Weibo and Yen Zhenhua was stunned. Since when was I smart? I was just thinking that it was time to eat so that everyone could have a meal together. No. Old Wu's right. This is the crystallization of my wisdom. Yen Zhenhua shamelessly finished reading old Wu's comments on him and pretended to be humble. I'm not familiar with this Mr. Wu. I didn't expect him to give me such a high evaluation. It's so embarrassing. Too much. Ha 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 ha. Everyone, that. I don't think you're embarrassed. You're smiling so much that flowers are about to bloom on your face. Xiangyi smiled as she listened to director Yen brag. Before long, she received a video call from director Mu Si. She pressed the answer button. Mu Si couldn't wait any longer. Sister E, can we add a foodie stream to our martial arts live stream? No, we might as well eat the whole time. Yen Zhenhua was close, he heard everything clearly. He laughed and scolded, "You're smart." Mu Si replied in her not-so-fluent Chinese. No, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. It's because of Director Yan's wisdom and Sister Yi and Shi Sui's delicious food that I'm inspired. Yen Zhenhua was elated to hear her flattery. Hey, little brother, you're treating me like an outsider. Chapter 1068. Mu Si had mastered the art of bootlicking and chatted happily with Yen Zhenhua. The two of them even agreed to promote each other's movie. Everyone was speechless. Don't hit those who bootlicked. I've learned it. 2 days later. The live stream promotion for martial arts began. The first thing the audience saw when they clicked on the live stream was a huge hot pot. Mu Si smiled and said, "Everyone, let's chat while eating. Friends in front of the screen, let's enjoy the food together." The audience was speechless. "Enjoy, my foot. We thought you and Director Yen would do the same thing, chat before eating. I didn't expect you to be even more ruthless, chatting while eating. The takeout we ordered hasn't arrived yet." Mu Si boiled a few thin slices of mutton rolls. After scalding them for a while, he scooped them up and rolled them in the dipping sauce before stuffing them into his mouth. He squinted his eyes in enjoyment. After chewing the food, he said seriously, "I like Chinese food very much, so this time, we've added a lot of food elements into our movie." The audience was salivating. Cough, tears were flowing out of their eyes as they slammed the table in anger. "You're just going to force it. This is too much." On the internet, whether it was the netizens or industry professionals, everyone was paying attention to the live stream promotion of martial arts. Luck might have played a role in the success of Night is Coming. After all, they were the first ones to try it. However, reality proved that the promotion of the live stream was really effective. The number of viewers in the live stream soon exceeded the peak of Night is Coming, and the pre-sales box office also kept breaking through. 200 million yuan, 300 million yuan, 500 million yuan. After an hour of live stream, the hot pot was not finished and the plot was only the beginning. Just as everyone's appetite and curiosity were piqued, the live stream ended. The audience vomited blood in unison. You should have continued. This kind of feeling was akin to running into an unscrupulous author when he was reading a web novel serial. That feeling of being stuck between a rock and a hard place was too torturous. Everyone was looking forward to martial arts, so they bought tickets and planned to go to the cinema to check it out. After the live stream ended, the pre-sales box office stabilized at 1.3 billion yuan. That's right. It was even higher than director Yan's movie. Of course, this 1.3 billion yuan included the pre-sales data from overseas. All of a sudden, the live stream promotion method was favored by the film festival. All the major movies followed suit. Their advance ticket sales were not bad, but they were far from Night is Coming and martial arts. The first reason was the audience's trust in the director and the quality of the film. The second reason was, the netizens all had their own opinions. Those who are dissatisfied, wake up. Are you as popular as Shui and Xiangyi? Yeah, who would watch the live stream without Shiringdi and Sister Yi? Other people's food doesn't taste as good as Sister Yi's. Having Sister Yi at home is like having a treasure. Having Shui at home is like having a dog's head. Are you trying to kill me with laughter? Ha 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 ha. The other movies scheduled for the Spring Festival were afraid that these two movies would take up too many slots, so they could only quietly build momentum through public opinion. For example, pre-sales were only pre-sales, and quality was the most important thing. Another example was that the greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. There was bound to be a dark horse in the Spring Festival slot, on New Year's Eve. The Xiang family didn't have a rule that prohibited their daughters and granddaughters from staying at home during the Spring Festival. Shui didn't think that his son-in-law couldn't spend the Spring Festival at his daughter-in-law's house. At this moment, the entire family was reunited at the Xiang family's old residence. Xiangyi turned on her cell phone and prepared to book the movie for tomorrow. Chapter 1069. To their surprise, all the cinemas were full. They went to several different cinemas, but there were no exceptions. Xiangyi, who initially wanted to experience the fun with her family, had no choice but to book a VIP hall that was reserved for the entire family at a certain cinema owned by the Xiang family. That scene was repeated in many other places. Netizens were complaining on social media that they couldn't even buy movie tickets. In other words, only the movie tickets for Night is Coming and martial arts could not be bought. The ticket price for the two movies was about 30 yuan while martial arts was about 50 yuan because it was a 3D film. Hence, the pricing was considered reasonable. However, the prices of the other movies had secretly increased. The netizens immediately began to complain in dissatisfaction. However, since it was the first day of the Lunar New Year, everyone wanted to watch a movie with their family. So be it if it was more expensive, at least they could watch it. Hence, the next day, on the first day of the Lunar New Year, the epidemic in Xi continent had long been resolved and the streets were full of joy. There were lanterns and streamers everywhere, and there were crowds in the shopping malls and supermarkets. The cinemas were also full of people. As the first batch of audience members entered the cinema to check their tickets, there were also comments about the major movies on the internet. The comments basically showed the reputation of the major movies. Muxi's martial arts incorporated a variety of elements from commercial films, such as action, suspense, racing, and food. The pace was fast and there were plenty of laughs. There were no obvious flaws in the plot, and several details were handled very artistically. It could be considered a standard commercial film with a strong personal style. It had a good box office and a good reputation. The quality of Yan Zhenhua's Night is Coming had always been guaranteed, and this one was even more exciting. Although it was a bit of a cultural film, the director had a strong foundation and the film was not incomprehensible. Instead, it looked more realistic than a commercial film. The box office sales gradually increased and the film's reputation exploded. On the other hand, the other movies were criticized in terms of quality and acting skills. Apart from that, everyone was also paying attention to a piece of gossip. Xiangyi's family was watching a movie. Although it was a VIP cinema, there was still a distance from the shopping mall to the cinema. Many passers-by took photos. The whole family was extremely good-looking and close to each other. Hence, it instantly attracted countless comments from netizens. Xiang Yi and Madame Xiang are wearing matching outfits. How trendy. After Sister Yi finished her milk tea, she went to drink Shui's fruit tea. It's too sweet. Are you the idols of a boy band? Their legs are too long, woo-woo. I've already seen little aunt hitting little uncle in the photos of different passers-by. Feng Feng is really pitiful in the theater. When Xiang Yi saw her face appear on the screen, she was still a little unaccustomed. Especially when it came to the scene of her and Shui kissing, Xiang Yi felt as if she was sitting on pins and needles. She wished she could dig a hole and bury herself in it. Shui, on the other hand, was much calmer. She even rubbed the rabbit's earlobe and said in a low voice, "Tutu, your ears are so red." She didn't know if he was talking about the movie or reality. Xiang Yi. She stared at the screen and sighed. You look so calm. You didn't even react to the kissing scene, Shui sneered silently. How could there be no reaction, silly rabbit? The movie ended. Xiang Yi was particularly embarrassed and didn't know how to face her family. Will I be reprimanded by Grandpa and Xiang Yi? She was most afraid of those two people. The others were fine. As for Xiang Yi, there was nothing to be afraid of. Chapter 1070. To her surprise, the first thing Xiang Yin said was, the movie was well filmed. The swordsmanship duel with Shu really felt like a martial arts film. Xiang Yi's eyes lit up. Wow, I got praised. Seeing the look of anticipation in her eyes, Sangshan originally wanted to say something about the kissing scene, but he swallowed his words and said, not bad. Xiang Yi was overjoyed. I got praised again. Big brother is the most picky and strict. The corners of Xiang Chen's mouth curled up when he saw her beaming with joy. However, he soon regained his composure. The family ate some snacks and Madame Xiang even tried the milk tea. After drinking it, she immediately gave it a thumbs up. It's delicious. Tutu, I want to drink from this shop again next time. Xiang Yin complained, this is all junk food. It's high in calories and sugar. In the words of traditional Chinese medicine, the stomach is the sea of food and the food goes to the stomach first. If you eat too much junk food, your stomach will be damaged first and your spleen will be damaged. Madame Xiang stuffed a cup of milk tea into his mouth. Xiang Yin instinctively slurped it. Then, he stopped talking. He held it and drank it silently. It's quite delicious. Forget it, forget it. Even if I get sick from drinking too much, I'm a master of traditional Chinese medicine. Can't I treat such a minor illness? As for Xiang Feng, he was ordered around by Xiang Wan. He served her tea, massaged her shoulders, and even ordered her to eat the snacks on the first floor, the pizza on the 7th floor, and the crispy meat on the 8th floor. Xiang Feng ran errands for her and even got beaten up when he came back. Xiang Feng was upset and aggrieved. Sis, you're going to be single for the rest of your life. Whoosh, he glared daggers at him. Xiang Yin humphed coldly. What nonsense are you spouting? Believe it or not, I'll smack your buttocks. Xiang Feng was speechless. Daddy, there are so many people here. Give me some face. Shui, who was at the side, burst into laughter. There's always a reason for everyone to bully me. After a short break, the family watched Night is Coming again. This time, they didn't touch the snacks and drinks from the beginning to the end. When the lights came on, no one even spoke. The tone of the movie was dark and gloomy. It gave people a feeling of depression and heaviness, but they were also worried about the characters in the movie. Director Yan's filming was too sympathetic. He knew that the bad guy was bad, but he also hoped that the bad guy would be punished. But he just felt sad. After a long while, the old man sighed. It's a good movie. Madame Xiang also praised, Little Yen is very creative. She hasn't forgotten her original intentions after all these years. That's good. When it was Yan Zhenhua's debut novel, Madame Xiang saw his talent and invested a sum of money in it. The two of them could be considered old acquaintances. Today, Madame Xiang was probably the only one who dared to call him Xiao Yan. The older brothers of the Xiang family also gave good reviews. Xiang Qi was very sensitive when it came to art. He said with certainty, even if the box office of this movie is not as high as martial arts, it will still win all kinds of awards. It was about noon. The box office data for half a day had already been tabulated. Martial arts and The Night is Coming took more than 80% of the box office. At present, martial arts had grossed 1.6 billion yuan while Night is Coming had grossed 1.3 billion yuan. The gap was gradually narrowing. The other few movies didn't have a good reputation. Word of mouth would affect the number of screenings in the cinemas. Since they couldn't beat the other movies in terms of quality, two of them began to think of ways to earn as much money as they could. By charging the so-called service fee, they secretly increased the ticket prices. Although it was only about 5 or 10 yuan, it caused a huge uproar on the internet. Simply put, they had failed. Chapter 1071. The netizens who had watched the movie began to criticize. What kind of movie is this? What a waste of my ticket money. Ticket prices are already expensive to begin with. How can they have the cheek to raise the price? Are they using their brains to make more money? Can anyone become a director these days? A lousy movie is a lousy movie, even if they hire famous actors. The laughs aren't funny, the tears aren't coming, and the orgasms aren't coming. What kind of family movie is this? My parents and uncle slept with each other from the beginning to the end. The public opinion affected the audience who had yet to watch the movie. Subconsciously, everyone had chosen to watch Martial Arts and Night is Coming. As of 12 p.m., Martial Arts had grossed 2 billion yuan on its first day. Night is Coming had grossed 1.8 billion yuan on its first day. However, the box office of Martial Arts also included a few hundred million yuan overseas. If only the domestic box office was taken into account, Night is Coming had overtaken Martial Arts. It was a huge reversal. No one expected that Night is Coming would become the biggest dark horse. Countless cinema chains urgently changed the showtimes and gave the best time slots and theaters to Night is Coming. Director Yan was indeed a veteran and famous director. His marketing immediately followed suit. Hence, 7 days later, Martial Arts broke 3.5 billion yuan at the box office. Meanwhile, Night is Coming had broken 4 billion yuan at the box office. Many netizens' hobby every day was to refresh the box office of the next two movies. The battle between the two movies was in full swing. Some people were slow to realize, the lead actor of both movies was Shi Sui. Shi Yingdi was the strongest. At the same time, a topic was trending on Weibo. Hashtag Shi Sui's cumulative box office earnings of 20 billion. Hashtag that's right. He had become the first actor in the history of domestic movies to have a cumulative box office earnings of more than 20 billion yuan. He was also the youngest actor to do so. Xiangyi had only starred in these two movies, but everyone estimated that the final box office earnings of these two movies combined would probably exceed 10 billion yuan. Many movie queens, big flowers, and super A-list actresses couldn't achieve this result, but Xiang Yi actually achieved it after acting in 2 movies. Some people said that she had good resources. Others said that she had good luck. However, most people acknowledged Xiang Yi's acting skills. Whether it was the valiant and beautiful Miss Zhang or the gentle female doctor, Xiang Yi's acting was impeccable. Nature, spirituality, empathy, whether it was talent or strength, she had it all. In the end, martial arts had a cumulative box office of 4.1 billion. Night is Coming had a cumulative box office of 6.12 billion. Many records were broken. It set a new record for the highest box office sales in the history of Chinese films. On this day, Shi Sui and Xiang Yi both announced their temporary retirement. Shi Sui, see you in the future. Xiang Yi v, see you another day. Tomato Entertainment also posted a long Weibo post. The general idea was that the two of them were about to stop all work and focus on their family and each other. In the future, they hoped to bring good works to everyone. The moment this Weibo post was posted, the entire internet went into an uproar. Weibo collapsed at any moment, and the programmers worked overtime with tears in their eyes. The fans did not believe it at first, but they soon calmed down and chose to give their blessings. Looking forward to returning soon. Husband, wife, enjoy life, hee, I bet it's going to be Xiao Xiao Sui or Xiao Xiao Yi. On this day, Li Jianyu's Weibo was flooded with mentions, and everyone was asking him when Bringing Kids would be released. Several months later, Li Jianyu finally replied on Weibo. Li Jianyu v, we can arrange the baby-bearing episode now. Dog head everyone, oh. On the same day, Xiang Yi posted on Weibo. Xiang Yi v, thank you for coming to my world. Chapter 1072. Side Story, Cutie Bao. Xiang Yi, thank you for coming to my world. The text was very simple, but the accompanying picture was of Shi Sui and Xiang Yi's hands. This Weibo post made the programmers of Weibo experience the despair of working overtime again. The entire internet was in an uproar. Shi Sui and Sister Yi are having a baby. All of a sudden, there were people everywhere who came to acknowledge their relationship. Baby, I'm your half-sister. Aya, our eldest nephew must be handsome. His hands are so beautiful. My grandmother is Sister Yi's milk powder. She asked me to ask if she gave birth to a granddaughter or a grandson. In contrast, Shi Sui's response seemed a little perfunctory. He reposted Xiang Yi's Weibo post and only sent a heart-shaped emoji. There were all sorts of speculations. They said that Shi Sui regretted marrying Xiang Yi, that Xiang Yi got married because of a shotgun marriage, and that Shi Sui still had a lover. However, the Shi Sui sisters, who knew Shi Sui the best, had the same thoughts. Maybe, probably, maybe, it's a baby boy. It turned out that the Shi Sui sisters were right. Rewind time to a few hours ago. Xiang Yi had already moved into the delivery room while old Mr. Xiang, old Mr. Fang, old Mr. Yun, and old Mr. Jing stayed next door. When they had nothing to do, they would come to take Xiang Yi's pulse. The doctors in the obstetrics and gynecology department were on tenterhooks every day. They had many years of experience, but in front of these big shots, they were as nervous as interns. Xiang Yi, on the other hand, was the calmest. It was past 3 in the morning. Xiang Yi felt something and took her own pulse to feel the fetal position. Yes, I should be going into labor soon. Almost as soon as she moved, Shi Sui woke up. Xiang Yi said, if nothing goes wrong, you'll be able to see the baby soon. In the next second, Shi Sui grabbed her hand tightly. His palms were sweating. Xiang Yi said softly, don't worry, the baby and I are very healthy. With Xiang Yin and the others around, Xiang Yi's body was nourished well, and she had been paying attention to her diet and exercising appropriately. Although the labor process was more painful than expected, Xiangyi was quite calm from beginning to end. He even comforted the doctors and nurses. Outside the delivery room, there was chaos and chaos. The Xiang brothers were all wearing pajamas, not as handsome as they usually were. Xiang Li even forgot to wear his glasses. He had to squint when he looked at people. Everyone was so nervous that they broke out in cold sweat. Madame Xiang began chanting Buddhist scriptures. Xiang Yin usually didn't believe in Buddhist scriptures, but at this moment, he prayed to all the gods and Buddhas in the heavens. Fortunately, everyone soon heard the child's cries. Xiang Feng was the first to stand up, giggling, "Our little kitty is crying too loudly." Xiang Qi was holding a large bag of clothes, blankets, and diapers that he had prepared beforehand. He stammered, "Is my little niece cold? Do you want to put on some clothes first?" Xiang Feng was also very agitated. "Will she be hungry? Why don't I make her some milk powder first?" Xiang Li and Sanction seemed calm, but in fact, flowers were blooming in their hearts. Whoosh, the door of the delivery room was opened, and the nurse came out with the baby in her arms. Shi Sui didn't even look at the baby and strode towards Xiangyi's bedside. Xiangyi's face was a little pale, but she was in a good state of mind. Shi Sui's Adam's apple bobbed, and the words that he wanted to say got stuck in his throat. In the end, his voice became hoarse and trembling. "Tutu." Xiangyi was slightly stunned. Shi Sui is crying. Chapter 1073. Outside the delivery room. Xiang Feng broke through the crowd and snatched the precious opportunity to see little Meow Meow for the first time. "Wow, our Meow Meow is too." Seeing the child in the nurse's arms, Xiang Feng felt like he had lost his ability to speak. After a long while, he finally managed to say, "Isn't she too ugly?" Xiang Yu said angrily, "Uncle, how can you say that?" Xiang Qi retorted, "Uncle, keep your voice down. She'll hear you." Xiang Li and Sanction also shot daggers at him. Xiang Feng felt wronged. "She's really ugly. I think you're the ugliest in the whole family." Xiang Wan slapped him on the arm and looked at little Meow Meow in shock. "Is this Tutu's biological child?" The nurse said in a timely manner, "Children are all like this when they're born. They'll be fine in 2 days. By the way, congratulations, it's a little boy, good, a little girl is good." Xiang Feng had just finished his sentence when he suddenly realized that something was wrong and turned to look at little Meow Meow. Everyone else also looked over, and then, they were petrified. Little Meow Meow whimpered. For more than 10 seconds, no one said a word. "So, it's not a nephew, it's a niece." Not long after, little Meow Meow was washed clean, wrapped in a cute pink blanket, and sent to Xiangyi's ward. Shi Sui was feeding Xiangyi to replenish her energy. The two of them didn't know that several people had already gone crazy outside. Almost as soon as she saw little Meow Meow, Xiangyi felt an urge to cry. Xiao Nao Fu. There was no reason for it. She knew, she just knew. There's a birthmark in the shape of a cat's claw on the baby's butt. The nurse smiled and said, "It matches the name Little Meow Meow." After she left, Xiangyi carefully poked the baby's little face with her finger. It was warm and soft. Her eyes were full of curiosity. She gently poked and retracted her hand. After a while, she couldn't help but poke again. "It's Xiao Nao Fu," she said. Shi Sui wasn't surprised at all. Xiao Nao Fu, the little white tiger pet, had been missing for a long time, so it wasn't hard to guess that it was the culprit. Shi Sui was rational, but when she looked at the baby, she still felt a strange feeling in her heart. This child is, he and Tutu's baby. It was very strange. "Yes, she's our daughter." Shi Sui's voice was as gentle as water. At this moment, Xiang Qi rushed into the ward and wailed, "No, I don't believe it. How could it be my nephew? Why? What? Xiangyi blinked. It's a boy. Previously, Xiao Naofu was a male cat. Now that it was a boy, Xiangyi's acceptance level was quite high. Shi Sui's face darkened visibly. Although it was a boy, she still kept using the name Little Meow Meow. It was worth mentioning that Jiang Jojo's baby, Fu Shishi, was born at the same time as Little Meow Meow, but he was born more than an hour earlier. In the blink of an eye, Little Meow Meow was 2 years old. Today was the day that Xiangyi and Jiang Jojo had agreed to meet. Jiang Jojo had given birth abroad and due to various reasons, it was her first time returning to the country in the past 2 years. Mommy, hug. The fair and soft chubby little cat stretched out his hands and asked for a hug. Xiangyi's eyes curved slightly as she picked him up. Meow meow, we're going to see Brother Shishi later. Gua gua. Little Meow Meow asked curiously, what kind of pot is that? Can it cook rice? Chapter 1074. Little Meow Meow was a child who could speak early and could basically speak in short sentences. Xiangyi explained, it's not the cook, it's Brother Shishi who sings for you. She often video called Jiang Jojo. As the son of a violinist, Fu Shishi had a good sense of music and could sing simple nursery rhymes. Hence, he couldn't escape from the performance segment. However, Fu Shishi always had a serious expression on his face. Little Meow Meow liked his singing but was often scared to tears. Oh. Little Meow Meow laid on Xiangyi's shoulder and immediately lost interest. Shishi is so fierce and I don't like it. He liked big cats. Big cats would come to play with him every few days. Their ears and tail were fluffy and they could even ride on them to play. Little Meow Meow really liked them. While speaking, Xiangyi carried him to the gate. Fu Jiayan and Jiang Jojo also happened to arrive. Jiang Jojo scurried over and exclaimed, "Ah, Little Meow Meow is so cute. Can I kiss you?" Little Meow Meow knew her and nodded, but he only gestured 2 fingers at her. Hee, I'm long prepared. Jiang Jojo smiled and took out 2 lollipops. Little Meow Meow held one in each hand and then gestured for her to kiss them. Little guy, you're quite familiar with this. Jiang Jojo teased and smacked her lips. Wow, it's so fragrant and soft. You're indeed different from my little rascal. Little Meow Meow raised the lollipop in front of her and said, Auntie, open it. Jiang Jojo tore open the lollipop wrapper for him and deliberately teased him. Can I kiss your mommy then? Little Meow Meow immediately hugged Xiangyi's neck and said sternly. No. Why? Only daddy can kiss mommy, auntie is not daddy. Sure, your logic is quite clear. Fu Jiayan carried Fu Shishi over and the adults greeted each other while the 2 children stared at each other. Fu Shishi had perfectly inherited his parents' genes. He had a handsome face at a young age, and his eyes were black and his hair was black. He looked cold but his voice was childish. Hello, I'm Fu Shishi. My name is Little Meow Meow. Little Meow Meow licked the lollipop and asked in a muffled voice, do you want some? Candy had a fatal attraction to children. Even Fu Shishi was no exception. Fu Shishi nodded coldly and extended his fair hand. Little Meow Meow put the well-packaged lollipop into her pocket and sucked on the lollipop in her mouth before handing the lollipop to Fu Shishi. That lollipop was obviously a lot smaller. Fu Shishi, Little Meow Meow had a sly look in his eyes. After all, he was the one who battled with Papa every day. The little boy had already learned the routine. Giving a candy stained with saliva equals the other party definitely won't accept it equals I can eat 2 candies. Perfect. However, what caught him off guard was, Fu Shishi was expressionless. He lowered his head slightly and sucked on the candy that little Meow Meow had licked. Little Meow Meow's eyes widened, her pure and flawless eyes filled with disbelief. Was there something wrong with this Wok's brain? Fu Shishi tasted it and said calmly, "It's sweet." Little Meow Meow, who had lost the lollipop, felt aggrieved and pitiful as she rubbed her head against Xiangyi's neck. Sob, sob, sob. The routine had failed. After a few seconds, he heard the annoying Wok's voice. "Hey, are you crying?" Little Meow Meow's eyes were filled with tears as she looked at him pitifully. Fu Shishi's heart softened and he sighed silently. She was still that stupid cat. Chapter 1075. Fu Shishi handed the lollipop back to her and stared at Little Meow Meow. "Do you want more?" Little Meow Meow blinked her watery eyes. "Is it, for me? May I?" Little Meow Meow asked softly. "Yes." Fu Shishi answered. Little Meow Meow was overjoyed and grabbed the lollipop with her chubby paws. Ignoring the fact that Fu Shishi had already eaten the lollipop, she stuffed it into her mouth. Fu Shishi felt a little awkward. He knew that Xiao Naofu had already lost its memory and was now a heartless little fool. However, he was different. Like Xiang Yi, he was also a fast transmigrator with an S rating. After completing the mission, he could fulfill a wish. Xiang Yi's wish was to return to this world. His wish was to retain all his memories. In that case, no matter how far away he was from Xiao Naofu, as long as he still had his memories, he would definitely be able to find this silly cat. He didn't expect to be so lucky as to meet Xiao Naofu so soon. All he could see was Little Meow Meow. Xiang Yi secretly observed him. Is it little Shiji? After all, she had been with Xiao Naofu for a long time and could clearly sense it. However, she hadn't known little Shiji for long and could vaguely sense it now, but she wasn't sure. As if sensing Xiang Yi's confusion, Fu Shishi looked at her with a serious expression on his face. It's me. Xiang Yi smiled. What are you talking about? Jiang Jojo was puzzled. Forget it, you'd better go play with Little Meow Meow. Remember to take good care of your brother. Fu Jian put his son down and instructed, don't bully your brother. Little Meow Meow was a little afraid of him, but under Xiang Yi's encouragement, she stood on the ground bravely. However, her eyes were watery and she looked extremely frightened. Big brother, do you want to catch a Fu butterfly? A Fu butterfly? Little Meow Meow pointed at the glass greenhouse. Fu Shishi nodded and naturally held Little Meow Meow's hand. Little Meow Meow blinked her long eyelashes and said, Big brother. Ha! You're not daddy and I'm not mommy. So, I shouldn't be able to hold hands, right? Just like how no one else could kiss mama, only papa could kiss mama. Others might find it difficult to understand his logic, but Fu Shishi understood it easily. We are friends. Friends can also hold hands. I see, other than when she had a battle of wits and courage with her father, Little Meow Meow had an innate instinct. At other times, she was quite innocent. Yes, we're good friends. Little Meow Meow's voice was soft and cute, just like a little kitten. However, when she saw Butterfly, she seemed to have smelled catmint. Fu Dai. Fu Shishi's lips curled into a smirk as he watched him dash forward to catch the butterfly. This kitten still liked to catch butterflies as before. He followed behind Little Meow Meow unhurriedly, supporting it from time to time when it was about to fall. On the other side, resting her chin in her hands, Jiang Jojo said in melancholy, It's a pity that Shishi and Little Meow Meow can't be betrothed to each other. I was thinking that at least one of us would be a daughter and we could tie her hair and wear dresses for her. It's good to be friends, Xiang Yi said with a smile. We can't get engaged when we're kids, but who says we can't wear dresses? Ha! Meow Meow, Shishi, come here for a while. a few minutes later. Xiangyi and Jiang Jojo changed little Meow Meow into a white princess dress, paired with a purple Stardew bunny earring headband, a pair of black leather shoes, and a pair of floral socks. He tilted his head and looked around. Where's Big Brother? Chapter 1076. In the cloakroom. Fu Shixi gripped the hem of the black baby collar dress tightly, feeling so embarrassed that smoke was rising from the top of his head. Not only was he wearing a dress, but his mother, Jiang Jojo, even made him wear a wig. He had curly hair with a red bow. He had to admit that he had a good sense of aesthetics. However, he was a boy. I'm a lion. Is it appropriate for me to dress like this? Is it appropriate? Where's Guogua? A soft voice rang in his ears. I miss Guogua. Fu Shixi gritted his teeth. It's better to get the pain over with than to prolong the pain. So be it. Well, the kitten misses me. Fu Shixi bit the bullet and opened the sliding door. Ah! Jiang Jojo kept snapping photos with the camera. So cute. Baby, look at the camera, here. Fu Shixi was cold and stiff. He reluctantly cooperated with her and made a V with his hand. He looked at Xiangyi. He could clearly sense that Xiangyi was trying to hold back her laughter. She must have guessed that I have memories and even suggested that I cross-dressed with Xiao Naofu. What a scheming woman. Fu Shixi secretly lampooned in his heart. In the next second, little Meow Meow pounced over. Wow! Her voice was the essence of Fu Shixi's voice. She dragged her voice and sounded rather childish. Guogua, are you an older sister? Little Meow Meow asked curiously. Fu Shixi said uncomfortably, I'm a man. Little Meow Meow fell into suspicion. She clearly looks like a pretty sister, however, he was used to being carefree and after struggling with it for a few seconds, he threw that question to the back of his mind. Little Meow Meow lifted the hem of her dress and twirled happily on the spot. Guogua, look. Fu Shixi said, yes. As soon as he said that, little Meow Meow stood still and looked at him expectantly with her clear round eyes. Fu Shixi suddenly had an ominous hunch. Just as he had expected. Little Meow Meow asked, Guogua, why aren't you twirling? Fu Shixi. I'm a lion. I'm twirling around in a dress. Don't I have any pride? Your mother knows who I'm. Little Meow Meow pouted. Guogua, you don't like playing with me. Fu Shixi quickly said, I didn't. Then why aren't you spinning in circles? Fu Shixi felt helpless. This stupid cat, he sighed heavily in his heart. Fu Shixi lifted the hem of her dress and twirled around perfunctorily. Jiang Jojo exclaimed, Aw, girl, you're so beautiful. Xiangyi remained calm and quietly turned on the recording mode. From the room to the greenhouse, and from the greenhouse to the pond, countless precious photos were taken, which would become Fu Shixi's dark history many years later. After shooting for half a day, they were all tired. Xiangyi was about to lead everyone back to the living room when she heard a familiar voice. Oh my, whose family's the little princess is this? Little Meow ran over. Uncle. Li Jianyu bent down and picked up Meow Meow with a smile. Little Meow Meow, you've gained weight again. Uncle, you've become ugly again. Li Jianyu, he felt as if he had been stabbed in the heart. You've really inherited your mother's looks and your father's mouth. Li Jianyu pinched little Meow Meow's face and said, let me rephrase, little Meow Meow is super cute. Little Meow Meow shook her head and exclaimed, Uncle is super handsome too. That's more like it. Li Jianyu looked at Xiangyi and grinned. Sister Yi, Sure Sui is coming back soon. Let's talk about bringing a baby. Chapter 1077. An hour later. Little Meow Meow was tired from playing and was basking in the sun on the tatami by the French window, snoring continuously. Fu Shishi was sitting next to him and flipping through a few fairy tale picture books, looking very obedient. On the other side. How long has Shui been at home? It's been 2 or 3 years. I heard that he was hesitant to go when he was nominated for an Oscar. Li Jianyu tried to persuade them. Sister E, don't slack off. You have no idea how many people are looking forward to your comeback. He wasn't exaggerating. Ordinary artists would lose most of their popularity if they didn't make a comeback. However, Shui and Xiangyi were different. It had been almost 3 years since Two Under One Roof was broadcast. However, the number of views had always been at the top of the variety show rankings. The two of them would occasionally post on Weibo and easily get more than 100,000 comments. Xiangyi chuckled and said, I'm fine with it. What does Shui say? I've looked for him several times before, but he seems to be uninterested. Li Jianyu touched his nose resentfully. I don't think he plans to return to the entertainment industry. Shui had been working behind the scenes for the past 2 years and would invest in several movies and television series every year. He had also taken over some of Tomato Entertainment's work. Now, Tomato Entertainment was already in existence that could compete with Xingchen Entertainment in the entertainment industry. In fact, they were even better in some aspects. Ding, the sound of the fingerprint lock being unlocked sounded. At the door, a tall and slender figure appeared in front of everyone. It was Shui. He was wearing a clean and simple white shirt that outlined his well-proportioned figure. He strode through the door with his long legs, carrying a paper bag from a dessert shop in his hand. After greeting Li Jianyu and the others, Shui walked out of the kitchen. When he came out again, he was holding a tray with a few pieces of cake on it. He placed the strawberry tiramisu in front of Xiangyi and went straight to the point. Do you have a proposal? Li Jianyu hurriedly explained. This time, bringing up a baby was planned to be live-streamed 6 times, each one a week apart, which was about the same as the current update speed of variety shows. Every episode had a different theme, such as visiting relatives, a father taking care of his child independently, and making new friends. Shui looked at it carefully and nodded. Okay. Li Jianyu was overjoyed. Then I'll get someone to prepare the contract. Friends were friends and work was work. He had always been very clear about that. Shui and Xiangyi said at the same time, wait. Ha. Xiangyi said gently, we need to ask for Little Meow Meow's opinion. Li Jianyu was stunned. Little Meow Meow was only 2 years old. Would a normal parent ask for a child's opinion? It doesn't seem like it. Anyway, when he was young, no one at home asked him about it. Coincidentally, Little Meow Meow had just woken up. Rubbing her eyes, she saw Shui and immediately ran over. Little Meow Meow jumped into Xiangyi's arms and said coquettishly, Mama, I want hugs, I want kisses, I want to be lifted up high. Shui narrowed her eyes, emitting a dangerous aura. Come here. I don't want to. Little Meow Meow hugged Xiangyi tightly and rubbed against her collarbone. Mama, Papa is fierce to me. Woo-woo, Shui clicked her tongue. Was she asking for a beating again? He lowered his eyelashes, looking helpless and pitiful. Did I do something wrong? That's why Meow Meow hates Papa. It's okay if Papa is sad, as long as Meow Meow is happy. Li Jianyu and the others were in a daze. This scene, why did it feel so familiar? Chapter 1078. Xiangyi rubbed the space between her eyebrows, already used to it. Such a scene had been played out countless times. She didn't know if Xiao Naofu's green tea meow had influenced Shui, or if Shui's green tea meow had spread from one person to another. In short, it was normal for the father and son to argue with each other at home, and it was even more normal for them to act together. Okay, let's get down to business. Meow meow, Uncle wants us to do a live broadcast, just like Fourth Uncle's competition. There will be a lot of people watching us through the internet. Some people will think that Meow Meow is cute, and some people will think that Meow Meow is not cute. Some people will like Meow Meow, and some people will hate Meow Meow. So, Meow Meow, do you think you can accept it? Do you want to do a live stream? Little Meow Meow's ability to understand was not bad. Besides, ever since he could speak, Xiangyi would ask for his opinion. After a long time, little Meow Meow learned that he had a choice and that his parents would respect his decision. Why would anyone hate me? Little Meow Meow tilted his head and asked in confusion. Li Jianyu exclaimed, "Hey, no. The whole world likes Meow Meow." Not far away, Fu Shishi nodded in agreement. Well said. Xiangyi explained seriously, because everyone has different ideas, just like how Meow Meow and Daddy and Mommy think differently. Meow Meow likes lollipops, Daddy hates lollipops, and Mommy doesn't like or dislike lollipops. Meow Meow may change Daddy and Mommy's minds, but it may never change. Li Jinyu scratched his head, wondering if Xiangyi was being too profound for such a young child. However, little Meow Meow seemed to be deep in thought. Mommy. He raised his beautiful starry eyes and pouted his chubby cheeks. I want to go, I want to be with Daddy and Mommy. As long as he was with Daddy and Mommy, he wouldn't be afraid. He didn't care if others didn't like him. As long as Daddy and Mommy liked him, he would be the happiest child in the world. Li Jianyu was a little surprised. It turns out that children know so much. He was a little surprised, but he immediately felt relieved. Maybe another miracle will happen during this live stream. A week later, at 8:30 p.m., Weibo traffic was at its peak. The official Weibo account of Two Under One Roof, which had been silent for a long time, was updated. Two Under One Roof v. Two Under One Roof, bring a baby. Do you still remember our gentle Xiangyi? Do you still remember our Westlake Longjing Sui? Saturday, 10 o'clock a.m., live streaming with children is coming. Shi Sui, Xiangyi, and little Meow Meow will be there. Then, Shi Sui and Xiangyi reposted the post. In an instant, the popularity exploded. Weibo was on the verge of collapse, and programmers were working overtime. The netizens were overjoyed as if they were celebrating the new year. They had been waiting for too long. Oh, little Lousy is finally going to be updated. Shi Sui is Sister Yi's baby. The name sounds so cute. So is she returning? Please, hurry up and start your career. Saturday, 10 o'clock. The camera began to film a familiar scene. The OUF flowers climbing on the black iron gate seemed to have become more luxuriant, and the layers of flowers were incomparably gorgeous. Walking along the stone path, they saw an unbelievably beautiful manor. In the distance, there was a familiar pond, a vegetable field, a little black pig, and ducks. In the glass greenhouse, a small figure was running and catching butterflies. Everyone held their breaths, wanting to see the cute baby's face. Chapter 1079. As if having guessed what the audience was thinking, the camera shook twice and the cameraman adjusted the angle. Little Meng's face appeared on the screen. The child looked like he was carved out of jade. His hair was a little curly and he looked like a doll. His eyes were pure and flawless, like clear spring water. His eyelashes were long and curly, and his lips were red and pouty. At first glance, it was hard to tell if he was a boy or a girl. Countless netizens were watching the live stream. Oh, he's so cute. Baby, I declare that I'm your biological mother now. From today onwards, I'm your godfather, okay? Little Meow Meow was completely unaware of the comments online. After failing to catch a butterfly for a long time, he was a little annoyed and stomped his feet angrily. Li Jianyu was amused. Little Meow Meow, you didn't catch a butterfly again. Do you need me to catch one for you? Thank you, uncle, I can do it, little Meow Meow answered in his childish voice, melting the hearts of countless men and women in front of the screen. This was simply a series that tricked people into having children. Li Jianyu said, say hello to everyone, there are a lot of people watching our little Meow Meow. Ha! Little Meow Meow immediately stopped catching butterflies and trotted over to the cameraman. In order to take a picture of him, the cameraman squatted down. Little Meow Meow leaned in front of the camera and pressed his face against the screen. Is anyone there? Can you see me? After zooming in, his cuteness doubled. The comment section was filled with screams. Yes, I can see you, baby. Li Jianyu laughed and said, Meow Meow, you don't have to get so close, everyone can see you. Oh, little Meow Meow stepped back a little and stood still obediently. He waved at everyone and said, hello, my nickname is Meow Meow, my real name is Shi, my father is Shui, my mother is Xiangyi, and my uncle is. When it came to his third uncle, little Meow Meow had already started counting with his fingers. When it came to his fourth uncle, little Meow Meow sighed. Sigh, why do I have so many uncles? The netizens burst into laughter. Little Meow 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 counted all his relatives and still felt that it wasn't enough. He thought about it and said, my name is Cici. Fu Shirshi was too difficult to pronounce, little Meow Meow Meow, Cici. In an instant, the netizens were energized. Guagua. Brother. Since when did little Meow Meow have a brother? Did Shui and Xiangyi have other children? And my friend is called Huhu. Little Meow Meow yawned. Alright, I'm done with the introductions. I'm going to sleep. Li Jianyu, ? The audience, ? Little Meow Meow was very familiar with the place. She would often lie down on the soft tatami mattress at the side, not forgetting to cover herself with a small blanket. Not long after her head hit the pillow, she would fall asleep. After a while, she was snoring. Live stream, she fell asleep. How could a guest in a variety show suddenly fall asleep? However, little Meow Meow was still a child, so they did not hold him to the standards of an adult. On the contrary, his parents were very pleased. Look, our baby is sleeping so soundly. To be honest, her snoring was quite nice. Li Jianyu did not expect this development either. He laughed dryly and said, then let's go see what Shui and Sister Yi are